Is anyone there? Psst. Hey.
Wah, 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 wah.
What a day. What a lovely, lovely day.
Wait, are there two
Brother?
Mileses here?
Happy DJ.
I'm so glad I'm not part
These
of this show.
intros are literally getting worse by the week. I love it. Oh my god. Soon there will literally be no intros. Brian's like, we can't risk this. We can't risk this.
Can't risk
But
it.
honestly,
this is all we got sometimes. Sometimes it's just the intro.
it's true.
It's like, that's it, man. So, all right. But yeah, you guys are right. We actually have a whole lot to talk about. It's like very, very exciting. So let's start the show. You guys ready?
Witness.
Let's go. This is PSVR GAMESCAST Live. We film live every single Monday, whatever. Wednesday?
Every Wednesday.
It's just Wednesday. it's there's no exciting words for it anymore. It can't even be Westness.
Three wise Westness
Not today. It's
stage.
yeah. The vertical blinds are back. Hope you like it. These blinds will not disappear until the time changes back again. I don't know when that happens. Spring forward, fall back. Every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. My name is Brian Paul from this channel right here, PSVR without Parole. And these gentlemen to my right, starting going right down the line, it's AJ from the Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Miles? What is up, Gamecat? Happy DJ. I'm super excited, man. Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Yeah,
Can you feel that energy, Brian?
I can feel my hatred
Let
for
it
the word
inside
DJ.
I just noticed, AJ, that you have to be careful when you do the "How's it going, Brian?" Because normally you'd put a lot of effort into that and then the other half into Gamecats. But you go, "How's it going, Brian?"
You caught that. Huh? My brain has to like adjust. We're still adjusting here. I mean,
know.
Brian doesn't even know what day it is anymore. Baby steps.
Nope.
Yeah.
It is crazy. Like we've been doing this for one day a week for over a month now, I think, right? And it's just it still feels absolutely messed up. And people have asked me, do you like it? Do you miss it? Do you hate it? Like what's going on with the new schedule? And I'm like, I absolutely miss seeing you guys 3 days a week, right? It was so good, and it felt like we were in this groove, and it was kind of nonstop, and and even if there wasn't anything to talk about, we'd always end up with like about 90-minute show, and it was always fun to get caught up and shoot the shit with you guys, and then on top of that, hang out with the cats and have a good time. So I do miss it, but man, like the time it's given back to me, like I've got to finish my Exorcist review today. I got to finish that tonight after the show, right? And I can't imagine having to do a show Monday would have like thrown this even further, into chaos. The schedule is just very, very busy. I'm realizing I don't get to get a day off until Saturday, and my new Polymega shows up tomorrow, so that's going to be a struggle. But Miles, on the right-hand side of the screen from youtube.com/Miles, what's going on with you, sir?
Not a lot. No, it's going good, Brian.
Good talk.
Lots of games. Yeah.
And good night.
And I'm off. Good night. Yeah. No, doing really, really good. Just being back in the flow with lots of Let's Plays every night, pretty much, except Wednesdays, because that's just a hellish day with my regular talk show, and then without Parole, GameScast Live. And there's just been a lot to play. A lot of small titles, a lot of cute titles, and Sushi Ben that we'll talk about in the show later. Just there's those moments where you play a game and you're like, wow, games can look really good in the headset, even if it's not graphically a complicated game, just with sharpness and good frame rate, and that was a nice experience. But on the flip side, I just got the platinum trophy for Suicide Guy VR. Very happy to never have to play that again.
Wait, can you
Swings and roundabouts.
Can you explain? You told me the story. You told AJ the story before the show. Can you tell everyone else the story of your experience platinuming that game?
Sure. Public service announcement. If you are going for the platinum trophy in Suicide Guy VR, and the only reason I went for it was I saw a lot of people getting it, and I gave up halfway through because I was getting headaches from the terrible frame rate. And this was a game that I liked on the flat screen. But I finally got to the end of the game and completed it last night, having found all the statues on each of the levels, the collectibles. And then I checked the trophies and it says you've got 0 out of 19. And I almost cried. Looked online on PlayStation or PSN profiles, and in the forum, people had found a fix. And the fix, fellow GameCats, is you need to start the game using the DualSense controller. And then the trophies pop. Not all of them. Some of them was like complete the first level and stuff, and I had to go back and complete the first level again. But yeah, kind of sums up what that game's like, the sort of state it's in. And supposedly that was made clear because they reached out to the devs about this bug, and they went, "Oh yeah, just play it with the Sense controller to begin with." So I love that's the fix.
So weird. You would think after 10,000 people played that, somebody would know.
Yeah, man. After that, yeah, they'd have reinvested it. Yeah,
I know. Where's that money going? Where's that money going? That's all I gotta say. That should be a new. We need like a new segment, Brian. Like a Brian investigates.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Brian at the scene of the crime. Wait, no, sorry, let's not do that.
Yeah, Brian,
for a game, yeah, Brian needs lots more to do. But for a game that I genuinely enjoyed bits of on the flat screen and was excited to experience it in VR, and it does have some quirky world building and puzzles. It just plays terrible, and I actually think I had more fun playing Run or Die VR and Chris Bane Hero, which says a lot, really.
Wow.
Yeah, so I try to. That's why I try to, at this point I just try to skip bad games, man. Like, I know you've got your, you've got a nice. I mean, you are a hefty platinum trophy carrier there. What is it? Number like 269.
Yeah, I can't remember. I have to have a look.
I have so many, I can't even keep track.
I lost count, after 5,000.
Yeah, 237.
That is impressive.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I did platinum just for balance. Little Cities Bigger. And that was a really great game to platinum. End Dreams, excellent. I think, generally has really good platinums. Even though, like Synapse, you don't have to complete the game 3 times. And I know we spoke about this before. Fract did have a platinum, right? But it was that you had to complete the game without dying once, which is... I forgive them now for that. They've done enough good platinums since
it extended the length of the game from 2 hours to 15.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. All right, guys. We have... I feel like I say this every week. We have so much to talk about. We should get, we don't always have a lot to talk about, but we do have a lot to talk about today. So let's kick things off by thanking a very specific group of cats out there. AJ, take it away.
That's right, Brian. We would like to thank those who support us in another way by changing their name to something GameCat adjacent, or something GameCat adjacent, as something GameCat adjacent like to say. And this week we have 2 new GameCats to welcome to the GameCat Dojo. Starting with Mischievous Markio, the Underground Game Cat.
Bing!
Elite name squad in the house. Let's go. I guess he gave up on Zenith.
Yeah?
I guess so.
I'm glad. I'm glad he's still around. Markio's fucking awesome. But eventually you have to give up on Zenith. You can't keep playing the same game, especially since the PSVR2 version is not so great.
Yeah, that game kind of died this gen, huh? Like, it was really great last gen. Amazing, even. But
and it was their game to lose too, man. Like, it's still the only big MMO on PlayStation VR 1 or 2, and I think they dropped the ball personally.
Yeah, they had that whole like free to play relaunch thing. We haven't really heard any. Still didn't reignite anything, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Markio. I don't mean to rub it in. That's okay. I see you playing No Man's Sky. You'll be all right. We've also got GameCat Rambo Gizmo.
Bing.
Aw,
Rambo Gizmo. That's awesome.
Remember he's got like the headband and the paperclip.
I do remember. I
think the match.
Gremlins 1, unlike Gremlins 2, is a fantastic movie.
Remember Gremlins, Miles?
I remember. Do you remember?
Remember Spike?
Guys, if you change your name to GameCat because you love us almost as much as we love you, make sure you let us know in the comments below any Without Parole video. Just put hashtag GameCat, and I can search you out. And if AJ is on next week's show, I can't figure out the schedule apparently, then he'll give you a shout out on next week's show. All right,
I
guys.
have no idea either, for the record. You're not alone.
Okay, so
I thought today was going to be Wes. I didn't who knows?
it didn't help that Wes was off last week going to play Behemoth in my place over at Skydance. So it didn't help. It was like, so wait, does he just lose a turn? Like, is this Uno or sorry or?
I think we can all agree that this is Ryan from the VR Grid's fault. Then,
I mean, that's generally who I blame these days. It used to be Polish Paul, easy scapegoat, but now it's definitely Ryan. But so we never even came up with like if somebody misses a week, like do you just lose your turn or how? We never figured that shit out because you know what? I don't think that far ahead. It took less than a month for this shit to hit the fan. Scott Dragula in the chat says, but Gremlins 2 keeps it sexy. I prefer Gremlins 2 doesn't even exist. Like I prefer that we just pretend it didn't happen. And I think the new Gremlins movie is also going to pretend that Gremlins 2 never happened. So I feel like Hollywood's got my back on this one. Not that means anything. All right, guys. First news story. PSVR 2 games on premium PlayStation Plus service. I don't. That's the third tier. It's the highest tier. We're getting PSVR 2 games free for your paid premium subscription starting June 6th. We got Ghostbusters, Rise of the Ghost Lord, Walkabout Mini Golf, Synth Riders, Before Your Eyes, and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners chapters 1 and 2. AJ, is this a good lineup? Is this a good deal?
Yeah, this is great. This is something, even though like I personally don't have any interest because I have to, buy or get a review every single game that comes out anyways. People in general have been asking for something like this. I don't know how many episodes we've gone through where I've heard probably both of you go, why doesn't Sony, wouldn't it be a great idea if Sony, released like some PSVR 2 games with PlayStation Plus or had a catalog? We've had this discussion ad nauseum. So it is wonderful to see that this is an option for some people out there. And combining it with this promotion is also a good idea. And last but certainly not least, some of, if not most of these games, some of these games are big ones. Looking at You, Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, chapters 1 and 2. That is one of the greatest VR games of all time of any platform tier game right there. So that's a huge get right there. But then you've also got Before Your Eyes, which is a great, showcase of the eye tracking. Synth Riders is a really, really fun rhythm game. It's amazing. Walkabout Mini Golf is like, seriously, if it is like one of the best games as well. I mean, and then there's Ghostbusters.
And then there's what?
And then there's Ghostbusters.
Okay. Brian said, "Oh, sorry." And there's what? Just made it sound even heavier.
No, look. Ghostbusters. Obviously was pretty disappointing for most of us. But I will say, like, the DLC is actually it's not really necessarily like a horrible game or anything. It's just not really what I personally wanted, and the DLC actually was kind of nice. So hopefully, it'll get a couple people to jump in there.
Cool. I have very mixed feelings about this. So I'm going to start with the positive, which is you got to give credit to Sony when they finally do something that I'm going to say is in the right direction, which is they have put a collection. And as AJ has said, I think this is an amazing collection because all the games might not speak to you, but they tick most of the boxes, like every sort of VR experience that you could want. I mean, Ghostbusters, regardless of what you think about it, young kids seem to have an absolute blast with it. And it is kind of fun if it's your first VR experience. Walkabout Mini Golf is an excellent social game and just one of the best games on PSVR 2. And if it is just the base game, Walkabout Mini Golf, I mean, they're going to be selling a lot of DLC off the back of it. So I think they've got a really good deal from it as well. Synth Riders, you got to have a music rhythm game. It's an excellent one to have. Before Your Eyes is a game I just wish more people experience, but it's a weird one to recommend because it is kind of a one and done. But both times I've played it, I've taken the headset off in complete and utter tears. And then the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, I kind of misread this at first because I was like, oh, it's 5 games. It's actually 6. It's chapters 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Which is just mind blowing. That is so much content, and the fact that people, you could give people the first game, and they're like, but I should have got the second game. Isn't that the newer one? Why are they giving us the old one? Or if they give you the second one, it's like, do I need to play the first one? Well, now you can play them back to back. So firstly, I just want to say that is all really, really good. And the fact it's in the premium membership, I think is great. However, I think when it comes to the strategy of why are Sony doing this, up to now, the question has been, how do we get PSVR2 headsets out there? And it's been catering to people that are already bought into VR.
Yep.
Now, you might be saying having it on premium means people can now buy a headset and they'll have some 5 games to play with. But this is the top tier of the 3 PlayStation Access. You have the Essential, you have the Extra, and the Premium. I bought Premium when it first came out for all the classic games, and then I downgraded to Extra. Is this something that would make me go back up to Premium? I'm not sure, but I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying that they're really excited for it. This is my opinion of what I would have done if I was head of strategy at Sony. I would have stuck with the strategy of PlayStation Plus Essential, which is the monthly games. Is every month you add one. The post could have been every month we're going to be adding one of these games to it. And what it means is people who aren't even thinking about VR every month are building now a collection of games that they can't currently play because they don't have a VR headset. And it increases the value proposition of put your hands in your pockets to pull out the money for a PSVR2 headset. Because at the moment, it's like you can get a PSVR2 headset, and obviously it's $100 off, which is amazing. We'll get to that in a moment. But you still have to upgrade potentially, unless you have already. And it's like, it is quite a bit more expensive. So you're still asking people to take a gamble with VR if they've never experienced it before. Whereas when it came to PSVR, you had the PlayStation Worlds was amazing. I remember when I first got it, it came with loads of different games, including Resident Evil 7. I just kind of feel like they need a package where, what if the PSVR 2 said you buy it, you get a year of PlayStation Plus Premium free? If that was included in this, then I think this would be the perfect offering, but it's not that. Right. So yeah, I'm a mixed bag. I think it's a really, really good deal. I think the games are amazing, and I'm really excited for people to check it out. But if it's about getting new people onto PSVR 2, I don't think this is the best strategy they could have done. But
no, it's definitely not the best strategy. I agree. I like the idea of it being on the Essentials, 1 game per month, and you slowly build up your collection and then convince people eventually. But I do think at the same time that this is sort of, it just feels like it's the beginning of Sony's push this year for PSVR 2, right? Whereas it was where are the PSVR 2 games on Plus? What's the incentive? What kind of what are you giving gamers, or how are you going to convince gamers to get into this or give it a shot or try it out for the first time? And this is the first time it seems like since February of last year that they're actually making any effort. Right, and this is just step 1. We're about to talk about step 2 as our next news story, right? And so, is it the ideal way? Could they have done it a little bit better? Sure, but kind of doing it all at once and being here's 6 games. Is it? I keep forgetting because, like you said, Miles, it's Saints and Sinners 1 and 2. 6 games all at once. Great examples. Great showpieces for the PSVR 2 in different ways, and boom, they just drop them all, right? And I think that's a little bit more exciting than being here's 1 PSVR 2 game for free this month, and then you have to wait next month to go, is there going to be another one? It's just a little bit of a different vibe with Sony being boom, here they all are.
Agreed.
And so it's almost like, sorry, AJ, it's almost like there's an urgency to this push. You know what I mean? They're here, pushing them all out at the same time. Sorry.
This is the launch we've been waiting for, you guys. They've finally, PSVR 2 is finally out. It's great, isn't it?
The soft launch is over.
The soft launch is over, baby. No, but look, I mean, if you look at the value proposition, this is a good dollar amount value of games here. I do like that this is probably the start of the collection, the catalog collection of PSVR 2 games. You have to imagine over time they're going to keep adding to this, and it's going to kind of help recirculate some of these games back into like, you know, having more visibility, having some attention, a little bit of spotlight, because a lot of stuff, I mean, there's just been so many games that it's really easy to overlook. So introducing them in this overtime is actually, I think, going to pay dividends in the long run. I do agree that, you know, with VR being kind of smaller, it's like it could use a little help of maybe being on the lower tier, like of things here. Maybe it doesn't have to be in the highest tier, but that's basically what they're doing to push people into that highest tier, is to include all that stuff, because you also get like free movies from their Sony Pictures Core app, and you know, so if you're like fully invested into the PlayStation ecosystem and everything, like this is great. You're gonna want premium anyways, and if not, if you're kind of on the fence right now, the good thing that they did here with this timing as well is that they said, well, if you get upgrade to premium right now, you get like a 30% discount, which is pretty nice. So, you know, they at least are like throwing some extra deals here and there. Like, you know, you don't like premium, you don't like that it's on premium. Well, here's a 30% discount with it. So they're giving some like incentive to jump into this, which is nice.
You guys, do you guys have premium?
No, I canceled it.
Yeah, I cancelled mine. I went down to the medium tier. So what's that extra?
Okay.
Because I played a bit of Paperscape and games I hadn't played as a kid, and then I was like, I'm not using this enough to justify the price each month. So yeah, look, I know it's a bit weird of me being the one being like, maybe I was being a bit negative, but like, I do think that, as you were alluding to, Brian, with your constant optimism, which just makes me sick, that, you know, they're doing a good thing. They're doing a good thing here, because if you're going to do it in stages, and let's say you are going to end up doing stuff that appeals to more people that want to make that jump but aren't sure, you want to do this first. This is announced before the state of play, where we know there's all these other VR things happening. And so, you know, the value proposition for that is, I think those are 6 really, really solid games. Like, I think it's a really good offering. And as I said, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying, oh, I don't have those couple of games. I might, you know, upgrade just for this. So, look, it's something to be celebrated. The only thing I would say, though, and I'm just looking on the site because they have an asterisk, but I don't know if it says, when things get added to the premium or extra catalogs, they do eventually get taken away as well.
If you download it, does it get permanently added to your library? No.
Not though. Well, that's a good question, actually, because maybe
it's like, do you have this window to kind of claim it and have it as part of your library? I think that's how it works, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I'd be curious. Oh, here we go. PlayStation Plus monthly games lineup. No, that's something different. I'm curious. I know for your monthly games, once you claim it, you've got it. Right. I know for the games catalog that you get access to with extra, it's obviously only when you've got extra, you're basically accessing the catalog, and then when you get rid of it, you don't have access to it, and games rotate on it. I don't know how it works with premium, actually, because this feels like a different tier.
Everyone in chat is saying it's only for the essential games that you get to keep. So I think
I don't believe you. Everyone's wrong.
I think they're right. I hate subscriptions. I hate having access to games based on a subscription model. It's never worked for me. The reason that I went down from premium is because I was playing all these games on my PlayStation 5, and I was like, I have all these games on my shelf behind me. Like, this is I own these games. Like, I don't need to play like some, you know, what's the point? So I actually really liked the Essentials model. And again, I do think that's better long run. But again, if we're going to drop 6 games all at once, that's probably the way to do it.
But also, Brian, if they were to do the Essentials model, they wouldn't have done it with these games. They wouldn't have, you know what I mean? So that's the other thing, is like, for games to be this good, they are going to want you to have to pay for it on the premium package. So maybe it's going to be a 2-pronged approach. Maybe they're going to do this, and then later down the line, they'll put some smaller games. Yeah. Maybe like a Suicide Guy VR or something else.
Yeah.
And then when people...
This seems like just the beginning. Yeah, like this is step 1, and you know, we've already seen step 2, and like, yeah, I mean, I just really do hope that that's what we see in the future, that we start seeing monthly PSVR2 games on Essential or every couple months, just kind of like boom, boom, boom again. So people build it up in their catalog and start saying, hey, maybe I should pick one of these headsets up. I already have 100 games.
That's kind of what that's what they're doing with this model, this whole premium model. That, I liked it when I had it. I tried it for like a year, and really I just don't play non-VR stuff as much anymore. But I really liked it because it's got the classic section, the PS3, the PS2, the PS1, and then it's got the PS4 games that you have access to. So now there's PSVR2 added to it, which is nice. So I think they're just going to continue to kind of build that out because this is their kind of competition or whatever answer for like Game Pass or whatever, and it's a pretty good value. Like if I had more interest in all the stuff that was on there, like it definitely seemed like a really good value proposition.
Sure.
And the movies too.
And it's assuming also that, if people are going to buy the year pass, I mean, you can just get it for a month, although I don't know if you can do that with upgrading, but like I don't know how much it is for a month on PlayStation Premium, but that on its own would be a really good value proposition to access these games if you just wanted to try them out.
One person said that I was right, so I'm going to go with that one person instead of those other 20 people.
I know how you operate. Don't worry. JR Gamecat in the chat with the Canadian 279 says, heard today from Jeff Grubb that new Astrobot is only flat. Wow, way to focus on the negative, JR Game. I'm only saying that because that's AJ made fun of me before the show, being like, I can't believe you put the negative news in the thumbnail.
I didn't say it like
also,
that.
that is the best AJ impression you've ever heard. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit, JR Gamercat. So hold on to your caller. We got the Gamecat Andrew Ehrenreich with the $5 says, Brian, at your recommendation, I played Organ Quarter. You're welcome. He says, one of the shittiest horror games. One of the shittiest horror games I've ever truly and thoroughly enjoyed. This tip has been a roller coaster ride. Really had a good time, he said.
Wow.
Awesome.
I'm so confused.
I also very confused. I
need to get back to that game. Loved it from what I played so far.
Yeah. Oh, it's so Silent Hill.
It's definitely creativity over quality. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's an intentionality to the low quality. I'm claiming. Living Legend with the Canadian $5 tip says, happy West J Cats. Oh, it'll never die. I was gutted to hear the new Astrobot rumored game is flat only. Okay, we're going to have to talk about Astro sooner rather than later. Yeah. A hybrid would have been amazing, but at this point, I'd take any AB. Astrobot. Again, we'll get to that, I promise. Pietrick F, thank you everybody for your tips. We appreciate it. Pietrick F with the 12 Plantain says, Cyberpunk VR, Grand Theft Auto 5, Last of Us 2. I keep my expectations low. Yeah. Here, we'll heart it anyway. Yeah. We're gonna do one more, and then we'll get back to the news stories. Elephant Trap with the €5 says, I'm back. Oh, Elephant Trap had like some serious surgeries going on, man. He said, finally back from my 5th surgery in 14 months. Again, some complications and bleeding, but I made it. Let the road to recovery begin. This might sound a little like, something, but like dude, it sounds like the surgeries he was dealing with were very fucking serious, like that he might not have even made it, right? And so like this is amazing news. Thank you for sharing, Elephant Trap. We love you so very much. Cannot wait until you're in prime condition to go play some Galaxy Card again. It's gonna be good times. Okay, we'll do one more. DonCat94 with the 2 Chieftains says, Gremlins 2 was awesome, Brian. I loved it as a kid. You don't you know me by now? If anything, like it starts off and it's kind of like scary, and then like the sequel is just goofy, I'm not going to enjoy. Like Gremlins 1 was legit scary as a kid. Gremlins 2 was like a clown car full of gremlins. That's by comparison. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need to rewatch it. Maybe I'm misremembering. But all right, next news story. State of play. Nope, that's not it. I've got the wrong thing highlighted. PSVR2 is $100 off throughout days of play. This is again what we were just talking about. This is Sony's kind of like 1-2 punch. Or at least their first steps in order to get PSVR2s into more homes. Here's a bunch of games we including with your subscription, and now you can get the headset for $100 less. I'll bring the gonna bring the store up here just to get some details. But Myles, do you think $100 is enough to change anyone's mind when it comes to such a high price tag?
I think it might make some people who are on the fence and have been tight for cash to jump in. I definitely think that. Is it something that I think is going to make people that have never considered VR before and seen it from a distance to finally go, now's the time to jump in? No, I don't. I think the Quest ecosystem is still going to deliver on that because of the fact that, it's a standalone piece of equipment. But I don't know. I'm definitely going to be shouting about this. So in the UK, it's normally £529.99. It's now £439.99. I just would love to see it come under that 400 mark. If it could be like $399, that would be amazing. But we always said in the past, actually, what's the standard price in the US?
$550. Now it's $450.
Okay, but I mean, we always said if we could get out into 500, as a standard thing, that'd be great. But again, I think the fact that they're not doing they're doing temporary cuts is because they probably still feel the value proposition is going to be there with upcoming announcements, maybe the PCVR and stuff like that. Yeah. The moment they start cutting the price, because when it comes to the Quest, they can be a lot more vicious with their pricing points because they have all these models, and there's rumors of the Quest 3S or whatever it's going to be, like the slimmer version. PlayStation VR2, they're not going to be doing a PlayStation VR2 S. The next one that's going to be made is a PlayStation VR3, which is not going to be for a very, very long time. So they need to play the long game with this, and that's why they're not going to want to drop the price more. So, look, I welcome it. I think it's good. I'm going to be shouting about it. There's a few people I know who might now jump in. But again, it's just a shame that you don't get games with it. I mean, you can get the Call of the Mountain bundle, which is discounted 100 off, obviously with the headset as well. So that kind of works. But yeah.
This is definitely going to sell a bunch of headsets, but not because of the $100 off, guys. It's because of the 12-month Netflix, right?
Whoa.
Like, that's the real system seller right here.
Wow.
People are just going to buy the headset just for the Netflix alone and then just leave they're never going to open the headset. That's what's going to happen.
Dude,
here. That is
I
the
literally
brilliant...
just subscribed. I just subscribed to Netflix the other night. I should have just bought another headset. Oh.
No, this is one of the things. This is the thing, man. It is super important that PSVR got some kind of discount. $100 is significant. Like you said, maybe not going to make every single a naysayer. It's not going to convince somebody to go out and impulse buy it because it's still $450. But I think for people on the fence or waiting for this kind of thing, waiting for some kind of discount, yeah, it's going to get a lot of those people for sure. But that's only part of it. I think that's part of Sony's master plan here. Is the other part is they're introducing things like the PlayStation, VR2 catalog games. They're gonna have a state of play tomorrow that's gonna have some new games shown. They're adding PC support. So while I do agree that I think a steeper discount would really send a lot of people over, you still have to take into account just the overall value proposition that they're trying to bring it to here, and I think that makes it a lot more convincing for a lot of people that, like I said, are kind of on the line. So it helps. It's not gonna just go and, like you said, make everybody go out and get one, but it is going to, I think, help a significant amount, especially if they do something really awesome with the kind of narrative, the hype, get people excited about it, give them a reason to want it more.
Yeah, I mean, what's a year of Netflix? $240?
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot
because it's
money.
Also it's the premium Netflix as well. I've just looked it up.
That's a lot of money, but it just doesn't make sense. I see Magic the Gamecat in the chat says, why not bundle it with a year of Plus Premium, right? it's these are things that these things are not connected. Netflix and PSVR2, like there's no VR Netflix
VR
app, right? And so it's like, oh yes, I got my PSVR2. Let's start up Netflix, and you're sitting there and you're like, this is gonna be great, and it's just like a social screen. You're like, what the fuck? It's flat. Like there's no connection between these things. So yeah, so why not like keep it in the VR or the PlayStation ecosystem and say like, you buy PSVR2 and get a year of Plus. It doesn't have to be premium. Although I guess premium would make more sense because that's where the games are at. I don't know, man.
Right.
It's again, these are along with the PCVR support, along with the games on premium. This all seems like they're like, instead of taking one major step to make this happen, like let's cut the price down to $300 or something insane, right? Instead of making one major move, they're making all of these little smaller moves. And I'm really curious to know if this is going to move the needle as much as one major move would. I don't think it will, unfortunately.
I'm sorry. Says Netflix VR announcement at State of Play. That would be amazing. There's some VR experience. But just to clarify for people asking about how you get it. So the deal is that if you purchase a PS5 console or a PlayStation VR2 headset direct from PlayStation, you get the 12 months of Netflix premium.
If you have Plus. If you have PlayStation Plus.
Yes, PlayStation Plus members only.
I got you, homie. I got you.
Damn him.
I don't think. Look, this is just like a bonus thing, right? It's not a selling point.
Correct.
It's not like it's not supposed to really be in tandem. It's just like, hey, we'll also give you this. It's just a bonus thing.
But can you imagine if they do announce that they're doing a Netflix cinema VR cinema mode?
Then it might actually sell a fuck ton.
That would be fucking cool. That's something I can imagine them doing. That's like feasible. Like, yeah, we're going to do a VR app that you can sit and watch Netflix with friends that also own it on their PSVR 2. That would be amazing.
Scott Dracula says Netflix sucks mostly. I don't care if it's got PSVR 2 support. I'll watch that shit all day. With my free 12 months of Netflix Premium.
Netflix doesn't suck. Like, honestly, dude, out of all I've subscribed to every single streaming service that there is. And I've gotten actually very good at subscribing to things one month and unsubscribing the next month and kind of keeping them rotating so that I'm not subscribed to 6 or 7 services at once. Like, I'll subscribe to 2 at a time, right? But then cancel after 3 months and get the other ones. And so I've been rotating through, and Netflix is the one that like I always have trouble getting rid of because there's always so much stuff that I want to watch on there. The content's great. I don't know how Netflix sucks. I mean, there are things that suck on Netflix. Although I will say, if you think Netflix sucks, it could be the algorithm that they're using to give you what they think you want to see. Because you know how much shit's on Netflix?
You probably just watch bad.
That's
probably
the problem.
TV and bad
Blame
movies.
the viewer. Right? That's
exactly.
the problem.
It's always the customer's fault,
dude. When I go to my parents' house and see their Netflix account, it's like a completely different service. It's like shit that I would never get recommended to me. Just like all down their recommended feed. Like it's just nonstop. World War II, whatever, because dads, But and so yes, I mean sometimes it's tougher to branch out and find stuff that you don't usually watch because that's not what they're recommending to you. But I fucking love Netflix. But
Scott Dracula says, "Okay, I suck."
And at least we've all come to the same conclusion, Scott Dracula.
He's a vampire.
Oh, and vampires suck. Oh, it makes so much sense now.
I had to explain that one to you. I'm sorry.
You did. I mean, shit happens. Jeesh with the $2 tip says, Jeesh. Sorry, I had to read it a couple of times. Is there a genre? What? So, okay, somebody's going to take over the tip reading because I am dyslexic as fuck. It's not even a joke. I'm not making fun of dyslexic people. I literally have so many problems reading these days. Is there a genre you would want more of on PSVR 2? And Jeesh, to kick the answer off, my answer is all genres. I want more of everything on PSVR 2. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I would kill for some like open world RPGs or something. Some Bethesda, Skyrim, Fallout type stuff. Absolutely, would kill for that.
I mean, too much of a good thing is always a bad thing, no matter what it is. So, like, I would just want more variety of stuff. But yeah, I mean, my first initial thought is RPGs, but then at some point it would probably get to where I'm like, okay, I'm so sick of RPGs. I'm ready for something else. So I don't think there is like a perfect answer for that. Yeah.
I would. I mean, it's not a typical genre that you'd have for gaming, but like, I want more like social experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Puzzling Places having just added multiplayer, it's incredible. There's another game that's just added multiplayer, isn't there?
Oh, I've got one. Single player story driven adventures. There you go.
Yeah. Yep. Miles,
So
to
maybe
answer your
there is, right?
question,
Thank you for the help, Miles.
Ancient Dungeon is doing some beta testing for their multiplayer stuff, and it's coming to PSVR2 in it seems like a few months. So it's good to hear an update from that guy, to know that it's still in development, that it's on its way, and hopefully they can work out all the kinks before it shows up on PSVR2, so we can get a nice polished experience. Yeah, dude, I want any excuse to jump back into Ancient Dungeons. A good one. I'm going to be fighting for that for first place on the next top 25 debate. First place. I only said it louder because AJ wasn't paying attention.
What game?
Ancient Dungeon.
Oh.
First place, AJ. Second place, Galaxy Kart. That's right, motherfucker. It's good now.
It is good now. I was. It's really good now. No, everyone's like, I saw people talking about Dash World in the Discord this morning. I'm like, dude, like I've played Dash World. Galaxy Kart is better. Like
I agree.
It is 100% better now. Like forget Dash World. I mean, I would still play it if it came out. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's Galaxy Kart is really good now.
Yeah. Also,
absolutely.
Dating sims.
Fishing games.
That's the. Oh
fishing
my god!
I was thinking fishing games.
Yes,
I was thinking that. But
see, the answer is all genres.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
But especially fishing games.
But like, how many fishing games? Like, could you imagine if like there's like an overabundance of just fishing games on PSVR?
Can you imagine? Yeah, PlayStation goes at state of play tomorrow. We've got 10 new PSVR2 titles to show up, and we're all leading in.
It's all different fishing games.
Catch and Release is announced. They have now got a timeline for the next 5 years.
Wow.
I honestly probably wouldn't be that mad.
Here are the next 5 years of content with a battle pass. Oh,
Rondo Mar, the Spanish pirate.
Battle Pass.
Gamecat with the 5 quid says, "Happy State of Play Eve, cats. All aboard the hype train." Thank you so much, Rondo Mar. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the generosity. Glad you're all here. This is gonna be dude. I'm happy just. I'm happy just because it feels like things are starting to be on the right track. Right? There's there's good energy out there. There's reports of good things happening. We've got a state of play tomorrow. It's just good stuff, right? I mean,
good vibes.
Yeah, state of play doesn't even have to be amazing tomorrow, right? Just show us some updates on PSVR2 games, and like Sony doesn't talk a lot these days. Like we don't get showcases or state of plays nearly as often as we should, and so whenever we get one, it's a time to celebrate. So we'll take it. Yeah,
Matthew, it was definitely like a barrage of stuff today. Like it was wow. Like when it rains, it pours, man. Because it was just like announcement overload today with so much stuff. And yeah, like so no matter what happens tomorrow, like I'm feeling pretty good. I am optimistic. We'll get into that in a second, but yeah, it was like today was just, it felt really good with just like announcement after announcement after news after news after news. Yeah. That was pretty cool. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Damn it.
It's been a while.
Nick with the €10 says, "Lately I've been busy moving out and studying for the new job." Congrats on the new job, Nick. "I promise to catch up on all the contents to redeem myself properly. Keep up the great show." Thank you very much. I can't believe you would sacrifice him without Parole watching for a new job and stuff.
No, outrageous.
Right. All right. Cool. Let's get back to the news. It's been good stuff. I'm going to bounce around a little bit on the run of show, guys. So let's talk a little bit about the other little push that PSVR2 seems to be getting, and that's in the department of PCVR compatibility.
I'm glad you moved this because I felt it was out of place.
Yeah.
It was bothering me.
Uh-huh. Good. Thank you for voicing that opinion. Never. You're so helpful, AJ.
I just have to tell you when you did something wrong.
Right.
That's
AJ
all.
would rather be critical than to actually be helpful. So this comes to us from Push Square by Sammy Barker. The title headline says, and I think the System Shock ad is going to be on the screen the entire time. So
System Shock?
Hold on, everybody. It's coming. PSVR2's anticipated PC adapter appears imminent. Sony submits certification in Korea. So this, before we even really dive into the article, gives some credence to Ivory, who's been trying to make a dongle for PSVR2, make it PSVR PC compatible for since launch, basically, and has been selling some dongles to make it happen. The article, though, says Sony said a little while back that it was exploring ways to expand PSVR2's compatibility with PC, and it looks like they may be nearing a solution. An eagle-eyed user on social media site Twitter, that's what we're going to call it, noticed in Korea the Japanese giant has submitted a certification for an adapter accessory, which will presumably make the headset compatible with a spectrum of hardware configurations. While software support has been plentiful from third-party devs and indies, the hardware maker hasn't exactly been forthcoming when it comes to exclusive software for PSVR 2, with Horizon Call of the Mountain and updates for titles like Gran Turismo 7 being the only real notable examples. With the aforementioned PC compatibility, the firm is clearly exploring alternate ways of flogging the format, or at least giving existing owners a reason to plug their headset in. We assume this adapter will be sold separately, and it'll likely involve a degree of tinkering to get working properly. Still, if this ends up the only means of playing Half-Life Alyx with a PSVR 2, so be it. Good article. I really like the way that article was written. It looked like there were plenty of ways for them to shit on PSVR 2 and say, well, because there's no games on the platform, here's a way that you're going to be able to play more games with the head. I mean, it's just like that kind of reductive way that we've seen happen in so many different articles, right? If it had never happened before, I wouldn't have even assumed it might have happened, but it does happen all the time. So I really like the way this was written. How much could a dongle be? I don't know what dongles do. AJ?
Don't know.
You know what dongle does?
It's a Bluetooth connection. Well, no, sorry, not for this one.
It's a driver.
Yeah, I mean, it could have drivers installed on it or something, but yeah, a dongle, like, I've got a dongle right here.
I bet you do.
Don't censor this.
Yeah.
This is a dongle, but this is a Bluetooth dongle.
Okay.
This is a wireless Bluetooth.
Oh yeah, no,
dongle,
I mean, dude, I got dongles up the butt, man.
Yeah.
Like there's dongles everywhere around here. No, that's just great. And so I know what like a dongle does, man. But do we expect this to be a relatively cheap way to plug your PSVR 2 into a PC?
Oh, I hope so.
I mean, it can't be more than $20, right? I mean,
oh, it definitely could be. It could be anywhere from 50 to 150.
Whoa. Okay, so strap in, boys and girls. Get your dongles.
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
I mean, how much are people willing to pay for a PSP, PlayStation Porn? Because this is the gateway opening to it now. So
$50 to $150.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's still great news. This is something that people have been wanting for a long time. My concern is that PCVR support is coming a little bit late. Right? There's definitely other headsets in the works. We know that other companies are releasing very competitive headsets, and that's all right around the corner. So it's like this thing's been out for we're coming up on a year and a half, and if it was PC compatible at launch, I think PC gamers would have been all over it. I'm wondering again if this is a little too late, and I hope that it's not. I hope there's enough of an incentive for this to, obviously people who already have a PlayStation VR 2 headset, this is going to add more, add more things to do with it, and make it a better value proposition if you already have one. But the question, I guess, is is this going to sell more headsets? I don't know.
I don't know.
What, PC? Having PC support?
I don't know. I see you're typing in the chat, so I
Yeah, I don't listen to you during
I know you don't.
these 2 hours.
This is why
this is my time to talk to these lovely people.
This is why I like to stop talking abruptly and just see what happens down there.
I start going on a rant about Jim Ryan and then being like, well, that's what happens when you mention Jim Ryan. Anyways,
yeah.
Dude, this will absolutely sell because this is the thing. This is a great feature to have for this. Look, all VR is awesome. But each platform, doesn't matter which one, Quest, PSVR2, PC, they all have their strengths and weaknesses. They all have something that is missing from one another in some way or another. For PSVR2, what it brings is it brings an OLED screen, which has amazing color. The Quest has a long list of great features and whatnot, but one of the things that PSVR2 has over it, that it doesn't have, is it's got the OLED screen that has amazing colors. The really rich blacks, really bright colors. That is something that's usually washed out on LCD screens. Also, we don't know the full extent of how this support's going to work, so it's a lot of it still remains kind of speculation. But if they do enable things like being able to use the eye tracking and adaptive triggers and haptics in the controllers, which I'd imagine they'd want to do that. I'd imagine that it would have that ability, because otherwise it's got all this extra expensive gear in it for no reason. It's just dead weight and dead cost for no reason.
But it's also going to be hard for developers to take advantage of that stuff because a good percentage of people on PC will not be using the PSVR2 headset, right? And so they are manufacturing or making developing games on PC, and it's just one more thing they have to account for, right? Not to mention all the different specs that people have for their computers, blah blah blah, whatever, and all the different headsets. But then with PSVR2 specifically, the question is, I guess, how difficult is it going to be to implement all this stuff that's PSVR2 specific to make it the best way to play on PC?
Even if it doesn't have this stuff, Brian, it's still the cheapest OLED headset that you can get.
But that's it's another
PCVR.
issue, right? I mean, people out there, there's already a divide out there that think, people think that the Quest 3, lenses and panel just look better, right? The pancake lenses,
yeah,
right?
For sure.
Because there's a bigger sweet spot and everything looks a little bit clearer, right?
I'm not saying this is going to outsell the Quest or anything. I'm saying this will sell more PSVR 2s. Definitely.
It'll
100%.
sell. It will definitely sell more, but the question is it going to move the needle? Is it going to be a significant number? And I don't think the answer is yes. I think they're a year and a half too late on this, because the jury's out on.
Well, I think having more functionality, more ways to use the headset is good at the end of the day. Whether it does or not,
100%
it's still a huge positive, a very, very big positive. And this generation, there is, the PC generation is really growing. PCs don't cost what they used to. I've got a beast of a PC that I got for under one, or basically 1,000 even, and it's able to play high-end games and everything. So of course the primary audience or whatever is going to want PS5 stuff. That's probably not going to change at all. We still have a bunch of games slated for this year, and obviously the future we don't know, but this will give it some longevity beyond beyond just the PS5. And I understand that's not for everybody. I have a PCVR. I still primarily play on my PS5. That's just what I enjoy the most, the games and everything. But I like having the option, and especially after using my Quest with PC, I'm there's some games I've actually stopped playing because I'm I really want to see this with the OLED screen. The lenses don't bother me. Not as much as the color and having blacks and all this stuff. So everybody's a little bit different. Everybody's going to have a different preference. Yeah. And it's really just going to depend on that a good bit. But this is a huge deal. This is a really, really awesome addition to an already awesome headset and library.
Totally agree. I've never disagreed that it's going to add so much more versatility to our headset. I may even plug it into my PC. I probably won't. I've got a Quest 3 sitting right here. I've used it for an hour, and I've never plugged it into my PC. It's probably not going to happen with the PSVR2.
I do think it's going to have some halo effect, though, because on the one hand, if you've got people that, let's say, stream VR games on their PCVR at the moment, they use a Quest 3 plugged in. If they start switching it to a PSVR2, that's going to have a great halo effect with marketing. You're just going to see much more PSVR2s worn by people. So I think that will have a long-term impact for the better. But then secondly, there will be people that have PCVR. They buy a PSVR2 headset because that's the headset they want to experience their games on. They have a good time with it. And then later down the line, they go, do you know what? There are all these PlayStation 5 PSVR2 exclusives that I want. I'm going to dish out for a PS5 once those come down a bit more in price as well. And so actually, I think you might see some cross-pollination where we might not necessarily see the needle move massively in the short run, but in the long run, I think culturally, it just means that PSVR2, the headset, isn't going to be seen as that niche thing for people that are just willing to fork out for a PS5 and a PSVR2, when actually it's now, no, people that play PCVR and all these mods get to enjoy the headset as well. So I think it's going to have a positive impact in the long run.
Agreed. Niles trying the game feline with the $5 tip says keeping up the important chat. Gremlins never would have been scary if he had just not fed them after midnight. It's true, man. Gizmo would have just been fucking adorable for 90 minutes straight. No problems. Just follow the fucking rules. Good talk. All right, guys. I don't want to bring the conversation down, but I'm gonna. And we're going to talk a little bit about this Astrobot rumor.
Rumor.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't believe we haven't had a GAMESCAST since this rumor first dropped. But the rumor is a new Astrobot will be revealed in weeks, it's claimed. This is from VGC. And let's make this bigger so I can read it. Andy Robinson over at Video Game Chronicle says a new Astrobot game for PlayStation 5 could be announced within weeks, it's claimed. That's according to prolific game leaker Billy B. Kuhn, don't ask me to pronounce things, who writes on Deal Labs that they've heard the title could be simply called Astrobot and announced within the next 15 days. Among other information we've obtained, it seems that part of the game will be playable in an environment located in the heart of a desert, they said, which is one of the most generic things anybody could predict for a 3D platformer. It's like, is there a volcano level 2? Is there an underwater level? Sorry, that's...
You gotta have those. You gotta have the snow level.
I know,
the green level.
But we already got those, and I guess that's why they decided to. They're like, oh, well, obviously the next one's going to have a. I can't believe it didn't have a snow or sand level, right? Anyway,
at a beach, yeah,
right. One of the new characters in the game would be a fennec fox in the form of a robot, sharing some similarities with Astro. According to this guy, the game will be released for PlayStation 5 as opposed to PlayStation VR, like the previous full entry. The last entry in the Astro series was 2020's Astro's Playroom, a 3D platformer which comes preloaded on every PlayStation 5 console. What are you doing? Stop breaking things. Okay. Okay. That's pretty much everything here. Guys, okay, so first and foremost, Team Asobi has not made an Astro game or any game, right? Since 2020? Was that the last time we've seen anything come from them?
Yeah.
Yes. And before that was Rescue Mission on PSVR.
Okay. And then we've also gotten like the little playroom things and Astro's Playroom and whatever, right? So like which is presumably coming from those guys as well. So this is 4 years of development on one game.
They've been developing it this whole time, but it's been 4 years since the last one. Yeah.
What do you think they did between the time they finished the last game and the start of developing this game?
They got shut down and turned into Team Asobi.
This is Team Asobi. Japan studio has shut down, and Asobi only got bigger, which means they're probably working on multiple projects.
Oh, maybe. Sorry.
I mean,
anyways.
For me with this issue, I have a really short answer, and we have touched upon this before, which is, and this is nothing groundbreaking. I think everyone's on the same page until you get your emotion, your hopes into it. The ranking of likability or probability of what type of game it's going to be, the idea of it being a completely VR game is the least likely outcome. Right. The most likely outcome is it's going to be a flat screen game. Just look at the direction of travel. It was first a niche game within a niche platform with the VR game. One of the best PSVR games out there, and I'd love them to bring it to PSVR2. And then they made this game that was installed on every PS5, and it brought Astrobot to a wider audience. And everyone was saying, oh, if only this was a full-fledged game. I think it's going to be a full-fledged flat-screen game. I think the best we could hope for is a hybrid game or something with hybrid elements. It could also be that they announce it as a flat-screen game and go, and in addition to this, Rescue Mission has got a PSVR2 version that's coming out, which, to be honest, I would be really happy about. I'd love to experience it with better, with maybe additional content and stuff like that. But I'm willing to be, eat my hat and, for them to say, no, this is going to be a VR title. But just keeping my expectations in check. I think it's going to be a flat screen game. And I think the best we can hope for is either some hybrid elements or a PSVR2 version of Rescue Mission.
Yeah. I agree to some extent. Yeah, I mean, there's no chance in hell that it's a VR only game. Just because you can't trust all the rumors, right? And you have to take everything with a grain of salt. But there's no grain of salt big enough for me to believe that they got this so wrong that's actually just a PSVR2 game and not a flat screen game. It is definitely a flat screen game. The question, of course, is will it be hybrid? And here's the thought process that it's kind of been circling around my brain for the last few days since this was first leaked, was that I just don't know, man. Like when you have 4 years of development for a game like this, right? This is going to be a massive third-person platformer. It's going to be very, very deep mechanically. It's going to be a lot of freedom as far as exploration goes. And my concern about this, and the reason that I think that it could possibly not be hybrid, is because Sony's always so concerned about motion sickness, right? And we've certainly played games like Marvels before, where you have complete freedom to run around and explore, and there's a camera hovering over you, and like that you have full control of, and you swing it left and right wildly with the right analog stick as you would on the flat screen, and like everyone got fucking sick, right? Not the vets, but a lot of people. And I think that with Astro, they always kind of want to ease people into this shit. And with VR, they want to ease people into this shit. I just think that a game like Astrobot Rescue Mission wouldn't work very well on the flat screen. So that's not the game they've been developing for the last 4 years. You're not running straight down a corridor from the back to the front in order to complete the level. It's just going to be way bigger worlds and way more exploration and way more freedom to go around. And my concern would be that Sony doesn't want people doing that in VR, or at least not with a first party title, because the last thing they want is the word on the street to be like, I played the cutest fucking platformer and it made me vomit. That would be awful. So that's why I think there's a lot of what gives your thought process of an Astrobot Rescue Mission 2 some credibility, right? Make a separate game for VR. I know that's not what people want to hear, and I hope that I'm wrong in that this is the ideal hybrid game. This would be the ideal hybrid game. Use some comfort settings to do whatever you have to do, and let us take the training wheels off if we're VR vets. Like that's, I can't imagine why this wouldn't be a hybrid.
It's worth reiterating that this is all speculation. You don't know if it's an open area, more open game like you're stating, right? Like that's also a guess. It could be another game that's like just down corridors. Because
could you imagine if they did that? That would be would be going back to Crash Bandicoot days. Like that would be horrible on the flat screen.
Isn't that what Playroom was like that though? And it's because it's all about like it's all about, it's a fun experience, it's fun to play or whatever.
Yep.
But then it's also about like replaying the levels for like speed running and time trials or challenges with things like that. So I'm not saying that it is or isn't. I'm saying like it could be either.
There's no way it will be.
I don't think that's a guarantee.
4 years of development.
Going to be some.
As Sophie said, this is the biggest game we've ever made. They said the next game they're putting out is the biggest game they've ever made. Do you think there's going to be
it's speculation though?
Yeah, of course it's speculation. This of course.
But so again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're right either, though. This is kind of an unknown. Well, because you're using that as your explanation for the reasoning why it won't be in VR, and it's like, well, we don't know that yet. So like, there's 1,000 other things I'm thinking of, like why it wouldn't be in VR. And let me, at the end of the day, what we've kind of learned is that the reason we like hybrid so much is because I really do think that these are like the best way for big platform holders like Sony or whatever. You look at the reaction that some of these games get, like this Batman game that was announced for Quest. You look at the backlash that gets, and it should overcome that. It should, but you still look at the backlash, the reaction that it gets. I really think that this is why the hybrid model, while VR is still growing and developing and getting bigger and bigger, this is like one of the best kind of like stopgaps for this transition, is because everybody's happy. You get the flat gamers go, oh, we get our flat game, and then we get our game. I have no interest in VR. I don't want to ever play it. Yeah, I'm happy. Right. Then and then also it's like, well, then you get to play it in VR as well. That not only pleases the VR audience, which is smaller, but also like people that aren't into VR, it kind of says, oh, like maybe this would be cool in VR. Like it grabs those, it can kind of convince those people. So I think the hybrid model is really, really important. That would be like the ideal thing. But yeah, there's really no guarantee. The only guarantee is that it's probably 99.9%, or the only 100% thing I'm sure about is that it will be a flat game. We don't know whether or not it's going to have a VR mode, or some VR content. I do feel like Astrobot should technically be a pretty easy game to convert to VR. I mean, after playing stuff like on UEVR, this is stuff I can't wait to get to once PSVR 2 gets PC support. But like playing these types of games, these third-person platformers, like I've played like Crash Bandicoot 4 and Spyro in VR. These games are really awesome in VR, just third person. And it's because they have like beautiful graphics. They're fun to play. They do work really, really well. And something that, I never really expected to say a couple years ago, besides the exception of a couple games, was that like how many games actually can work as a really good and feel built for VR, even if it's like third person or whatever. We've always thought that games, most people originally thought that games are all about like, for more immersion, they need to like, have your hands represented in the game and be like first person. And I've definitely like had my mind kind of opened a little bit more beyond that, and it started with games like Moss and Astrobot, but I think either this game is going to be non-VR only, just a PS5 game, and that's because it makes the most business sense, and they are a big giant corporation after all, or it could get a hybrid, like a playable VR mode, where instead of using a DualSense controller, you use the DualSense controllers. It's like they've built it in two ways. They built it for like a flat screen version, and then they've built it to where you can play it in VR. Maybe some of the things, instead of doing some of the interactions with the controller, now you're doing them actually like physically represented with two hands, which would be pretty sweet. The other great thing would be that, like Myles said, the possibility of, a a remaster of the first game, which I would be totally happy with. I would be very happy with a remaster, though it wouldn't be my number one thing I'd want. Like, of course, I'd rather have like this be a hybrid or have a sequel to the game, because I've already played Astrobot, platinumed it before. But I would definitely be happy to be able to play it again on better hardware. Bonus points if it's got additional content added. But also for the fact that like so many people that haven't played Astrobot in VR it would get to play it now would be amazing. Because for those that, you know, for like Astro's Playroom was cool, but obviously these people didn't play, like a lot of people didn't play Astrobot Rescue Mission, because as good as Playroom was, that is a tech demo in comparison to how good Astrobot Rescue Mission actually was, like being a full-fledged game. So it's cool that flat gamers get to, you know, experience this, but this is one that's near and dear to our heart. This is something that people have literally been commenting and you know, commenting on their social media, whatever, at the developers and Sony and whoever for years now. So it would sting a great deal if it doesn't end up getting anything. And no, if we're completely shut out, it's gonna suck. Personally, I would probably get over it, because quite frankly, there's lots of other things that are really awesome on the platform. But this one means a lot to us, man. This is the equivalent of having like Crash Bandicoot. Like if you grew up playing like Crash Bandicoot and having that being bought by like Microsoft or Spyro, and now that's by Microsoft. Like it's like these are things that you you know, have an attachment to, that you really enjoyed, that you associate with this thing, and to not have that at all would really suck.
Yeah, no, dude, hard to disagree with any of those things that you said. We've said,
sorry for the long rant.
It's all good. Hybrid, you know, we've been saying for pretty much the entire last year, maybe for a year or so before PSVR2 even came out, that hybrid games are the only thing that really makes sense this generation. Spending tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars on a VR game is just not feasible. These guys, this is a big team now, Team Asobi, who has spent the last 4 years. That's a lot of salaries and a lot of rent to pay to make a VR only game. So like the fact that it's being developed for the flat screen, at least as well, if not explicitly or exclusively, like that's the only thing that makes sense. But then, yeah, to have it ripped away from us in the process would absolutely suck. And so I can't, you know, like when you look at games like Resident Evil 4 and the concessions that they made to bring it into VR, or the amount of work and effort that, you know, that Resident Evil Village took, and the things that they had to add, the different haptics and all the interactions and everything, this just seems like so much less work than any of those. This just seems like, you know, not that it ever takes the push of a button or the flip of a switch, Lloyd in the basement working overtime. Not that it ever takes that little work to make something VR. But this seems like the smallest amount of work, a third-person platformer with, like, you know, some controller abilities. This seems like the smallest amount of work it would take to make a hybrid game. So here's a team that's been working for 4 years to make a flat screen game that's a follow-up to one of the best PSVR 1 games we ever got. If it doesn't have a hybrid option, if there's no VR support at all, yeah, man, it's gonna be heartbreaking, no question about it. And also, it won't make any fucking sense, and that's the worst part about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, on the question of like the 4 years and what could they have done for that entire time, I think it comes to a couple of things. I mean, when we think of Team Asobi and what they're known for with their games, for me, I've got two things written down. One is it's about pushing the technology forward, showing like what is actually possible on the hardware that they're using. But then also, they're about looking back at the roots, and they did that very well with Astro's Playroom, celebrating the history of PlayStation. And so a part of me feels that for a game, a platformer, which we'd normally see as quite a straightforward game to make, and it wouldn't take that many years. Obviously, we have to think about all the disruption that's happened in the economy and the offsets that's happened with the pandemic and that, which has still been ravaging through a lot of production cycles. But I feel like this game has the propensity to really take on a lot of the elements that have made Little Big Planet work, whether it's like the multiplayer combination, being able to play with friends online, but also having the ability to create your own worlds. I know Nintendo does it with a lot, with Mario components and that. Like, we have created this world now. They did it on Astro's Playroom where they had time trials, and it was to show PlayStation's functionality that when someone beat your time, you'd get a little notification saying, here, someone beat your time. You click the PlayStation button and you're brought straight to that level and you can race with it again. It was fun for a good month or so, and then it kind of just went out. So in terms of having a game that has more of a long-standing life cycle, then it, having multiplayer and customization, creating your own levels would definitely work towards that. But
Myles,
when it comes down to... Say again?
Are you moving on from multiplayer? Are you moving on to... Okay, then stop for a second and remember what you're going to say. Because...
I've got it written down.
Perfect. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but Astrobot Rescue Mission 1 was definitely supposed to have multiplayer. In fact, some of the early, the launch physical cases shipped with the message on the back that said that it had multiplayer support.
I didn't know that.
I'm assuming that's how late in development it gets stripped out. But I saw Prentice Summerscales in the chat say something that I immediately thought as well when reading through this article. He says there's speculation that Fennec Fox might be a multiplayer sidekick. That might get me over the VR absence.
About that.
How fucking cool would it be if it was like this team effort? Because one of the things that PlayStation VR and PlayStation VR 2 have over the competition is the fact that there's a social screen, that other people in the room can participate and enjoy what you're doing, and in very infrequent cases, join in on the flat screen.
Well, they did it with the old Astro mini games, didn't they?
Yeah,
like, there was the one where you're in the
Robots
Western
Rescue.
bar. Yeah, and you got to someone's on the TV and can see who you got to find in there, and you're communicating to the person in the headset who they got to shoot.
And so how cool would it be?
It was social.
If Fennec Fox was the person you're playing as on the flat screen, and then Astrobot you're playing as in VR, or you can play as both on the flat screen or whatever, kind of mix and match the way you want multiplayer to happen. I would be shocked if this game didn't have multiplayer, considering how late in the game it seems like they dropped multiplayer last time. Right? Is this something they wanted to do? And I mean, it would just be phenomenal to finally have a game where you could play through from beginning to end like an actual platformer. To be able to hang out with your flat screen buddy in. Sorry.
That would be really, really, really cool. No. That's awesome. I had no idea about that with Rescue Mission. That's super cool. The other two things I had written down left was just kind of like, if I was to dream big about announcements for Astro that I'd love them to do, and this isn't just like full-fledged VR game, like I don't think that's going to happen, but like, if I was to dream big, I've got two things here. One is that they showcase at this new Astrobot game as flat screen, and then at the end of it, as I mentioned a moment ago, one of the things they always like to celebrate is like the roots of gaming and where they get their inspiration from. So what if they showed you this flat screen new Astrobot game and then ended it saying, but we always like to reflect on our roots, and Astrobot was beloved by the VR community. So this game you've seen will be completely playable in VR as well. I can imagine them saying something like that. Yeah. And I know what you're saying, Brian, about like the issues of motion sickness has always been a concern. But them being experts at showcasing the technology, maybe the reason it's taken a long time is, no, we are going to get this right. So this is a game where if you play it in VR on flat screen, this shows you for the first time ever true parity, that whether you like to play on flat screen or you like to play on VR, you're going to have an amazing experience where one isn't at the cost of the other, which would be amazing. Because up to now, we've always sort of seen when it comes to hybrid games, it's the sort of give and take with it. I'll just say the other bit because it's just really small, and then we can discuss that if you want. The other sort of big dreamy bit would be where, kind of tying in with that, is they say Astrobot Rescue Mission was a beloved game by the VR community, and we'd love it to be experienced by everyone, so we're now releasing it flat screen. Like, that is a game where they've already built it, making a flat screen version, development cost-wise, and I could be completely wrong, I assume wouldn't be that expensive. They would sell a lot of copies of that because it's a beloved game and it's another small game. Lots of people go, yeah, I'd buy for, if it was like a $20 game or something on flat screen. Right. That's something else I could see him doing. I do feel like there's going to be some crossover between VR and flat screen, but the dream would be that this new game is a completely flat screen game that is completely experienced in VR as well, to sort of bring the two sides together. That's the dream for me.
When they say that this is their most ambitious title yet, it does make me go, like it makes you think, right? Like, because that could mean so many things. But the fact that, they're taking this IP and making what they're calling their biggest, most ambitious game yet is going to be, it's going to be good regardless of how it, what it is, exactly. Whether it's VR or not. Like, it's probably going to be pretty damn good. And when you were talking through the article or whatever and mentioned the Fennec Fox thing, that was my first thought, because they're like kind of singling it out a little bit, and that was my thought. There is like, this sounds like a character they put something. It sounds more than just a little NPC. Sounds like it's hinting at multiplayer.
Right, so it has the same abilities that Astrobot has, and it's like, well, why would any other character have identical abilities? It's like, well, because it's playable.
But in terms of the reason there's so many reasons this would be a big deal. I mean, if you're talking about trying to sell VR headsets, I mean, this is if you couple a price cut with, there's two big things I said you needed to do to turn this ship around for PSVR2. You need to cut, do a price reduction, whether it be a big promotional sale or a permanent price drop. And you need to announce an Astrobot title for multiple reasons. Not only is it a great game, but also it's whatchamacallit. It'll silence a lot of the people that said, there's no first party support. Like, it would really satisfy people for a very long time, showing that, hey, like, because other than the Astrobot, like, we don't think that there's a bunch of first party games in development or anything. Like, this really, to me, is a big deal to me, because I feel like this is one of the last big, like, first party things that they can do. And I feel like it would be a big one. Like, it's a really important one. So it would be really awesome if it happens to have some kind of VR support, for so many reasons. It would be a really big boost for if they're trying to sell PSVR2s and right the ship a little bit from their soft launch.
Yeah. I sort of like the way that Myles was delivering his thoughts on this, because he was saying, not that I didn't love the way you were delivering your thoughts, AJ. I love you so very much. But Myles was saying, like, the words that you'd be hearing from Sony, saying, we know there's been a lot of love for Astrobot and blah, blah. And the reason I like that is because you've got to figure that if Sony has even one brain cell left, they cannot announce a new Astrobot game without acknowledging the VR gamers, right? And if they don't do that, it's going to be real bad. It's going to look bad. It's going to sound bad. The perception's going to be horrible, and it's going to give way too much ammunition to the people who already think that Sony's given up on PSVR2, which clearly they haven't. We know that there's a lot of stuff in the works this year, but like, it's just a game. It's an important game that needs.
This is a state of play, which is notorious for just being like, this is let's take a look at this. And they just show it and then they move on. This isn't, I guess, I don't
Except
know.
for the last state of play, AJ. The last state of play was the one they've actually made it feel more like a showcase, like it's much.
Yeah, I guess Herman Hulst came out, I think, like, or something, like, just in the beginning, right? Like, or was he?
Yeah.
Did he show up multiple times and was like, now we're going to show you something? There wasn't like this big build up, this speech. That was kind of a presentation that was used at like E3 events and things. State of Plays, I guess, besides the last one, I have to go watch it again to be honest. But
yeah, it was honestly, it felt a massive sea change, because you're right. When it first started, it felt like Nintendo Direct, where you have that hi, welcome, and it's like the slideshow, which is exactly what PlayStation did. The last one, it kind of had the speaking to camera, like you had Jim Ryan, you had a few other people from Sony, and then at the end they had the Hideo Kojima bit, where Herman Hulst was there again, and it definitely. Obviously, that was a one-off, but I kind of feel like since Herman Hulst has got the gig now, and off the back of the success of that state of play, like, I think that this could be awesome. But I'm with you. It could go either of two ways.
I gotta say, man, Herman Hulst and Hideaki Nishino, they've been in charge for 29 days, and pretty happy so far.
Somehow they already managed to get a 4-year development cycle for Astrobot in. They're amazing.
And that's
well, they literally
when you mention it being in development for 4 years, if that's the case, nobody knew the state of PSVR2, like where it would be at or where it would be considered at this time. So if this started development 4 years ago, actually the longer ago it started development, actually the better it bodes for us in the long run. Because it's like if they've been working on it this whole time, like then I think that gives us a better chance of it being VR support than anything that's starting development right now.
Agreed.
That's for sure.
Agreed. Sanador the Game Tiger, welcome to the Level 1 membership. You've joined an elusive and exclusive, but more so elusive group of cats. Jim Perona with the $5 tip. Thanks, JP. New games, PC support, great discount. You are not ready. Enos lives. Level of hype for tomorrow. Let's fucking go. That's way too much hype. Everyone take JP's hype and bring him down back to the ground. Fucking everybody relax. It may not be amazing, but it's probably gonna be pretty good. Fox Die Infected with the level 3 membership says, can VR really take off mainstream without a Grand Theft Auto game? Honestly, I don't know. I've said this before. I don't know if any one game will change anything. Right? I don't know if you get even if it was Grand Theft Auto 6 day and date on PSVR2 along with PlayStation 5 whenever it's coming out, late 2025. Is that what they said? I mean, how many headsets do you sell with that announcement?
Huge. Dude, like Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to shift so many PlayStation 5s. Like I know consoles are different headsets. Grand Theft Auto 6 is just one of those rare, phenomenal moments where, I mean, if that would be like the only reason I'd get a PlayStation 5 Pro. Obviously, I'm going to get it for the PSVR2 advancements as well. But yeah. I think Grand Theft Auto 6 is one of the rare ones. I agree. Most of the time, one game won't make a difference. Grand Theft Auto 6, if it was in VR, people would literally be going, right, I've got a year to save up so I can experience this in VR. Yeah.
I mean, I said it before thinking about it because I keep thinking I always go back to the big heavy hitters. Skyrim didn't really move the needle. Minecraft didn't really move the needle. Resident Evil 7, like basically at the launch PSVR 1, didn't really move the needle, right? But yeah, there's
A tier.
Yeah,
GTA 6 is S like
tier,
it is. It's the first $1 to $2 billion game. Like,
right. Even if
this is
even if 0.5% of the people who buy Grand Theft Auto 6 are like, oh, I should pick up a PSVR 2 headset, it's suddenly the best selling headset of all time.
It's still 100 million.
Right.
And what I've always said before of like, if 2% of people that own a PS5 have PSVR 2 and it's about selling more consoles, the amount of consoles they're going to sell because of Grand Theft Auto 6 that doesn't have a VR mode is going to increase the number of PSVR 2s by that sort of like the way it trickles down. But if it came on VR, yeah, people would be splashing out for it, man. Absolutely.
All right, let's have a couple more tips here and make sure
I
don't miss anybody. Strike the Signosis Gamecat with the level 1 membership says, who's going to be on the live stream panel tomorrow? Well, only people who care. So Jammy here is going to be here.
Whoa!
Such a dick.
I'm kidding. Yeah, no. It seems like it's going to be me, Myles, and Jammy. And the reason Jammy's going to be on, don't get me wrong, I fucking love Jammy. The last time he was on, it was like I had a blast with him. He seems like a great guy. But he just happened to be in our Discord today and was like, "Hey, I'd love to be on the show tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I mean, I don't plan ahead, so you're here."
Yeah,
right.
Brian replaced me with Jammy before I even had a time to respond.
It's true. Like literally, dude. I mean, like literally anybody could have shown up and been like, "Hey, can I be on the show tomorrow?" I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I haven't planned that, so yes, you can."
It's cool. You get to mix it up.
And dude, and again, I don't want to take anything away from Jammy because he's fucking awesome. So
he is.
Yeah. I
think need to, for tomorrow's thumbnail, Brian, need lots of red arrows pointing at random shit.
and maybe a couple UK flags because I feel like I'm going to be outnumbered a little bit.
Oh, yeah. British takeover.
British invasion is happening again. We got Jacob Hughes. Oh my God, we have so many tips. All right, I won't spend too much time on this. Jacob Hughes with the $2 says, when you lads joining us on Gran Turismo 7, up the game pats.
I need to get back on it.
Yes. So part of what I've been doing lately is clearing out a lot of my old video game collection, trying to make space in my apartment again. And part of that is to make space for the racing rig, because that's how I want to play that game, obviously. And when that rig is set up and accessible, I'll have way more time to play. Macho, the real estate procrastinating Gamecat with the $5. There's no armrest here. What happened? With the $5 tip says PC support will be the best thing that's happened to PSVR2. Will be good on all ends for everyone. No more paywalling behind PS5 ownership in a larger base. You know that PCs are more expensive, and so that's a bigger paywall. You know that, right? I love you, Majo, but I don't think this makes any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Good stuff.
But no, again, more is better. And I will say, we've been talking about Astrobot a lot, and you were saying like, oh, you can't just flip a switch. Actually, you kind of can. Like UEVR has proven that with like literally Spyro, you literally just flip a switch, and it feels like the entire game's built for VR. It's insane. It's insane.
Okay, listen, I'm 100% with you. I get it. Spyro is an old fucking game.
It's a remastered game.
But whatever. But when you look at things like Astrobot and you look at the way that Astro is built, this is what I'm saying, is that like you are not playing as Astrobot. You have control over Astrobot with the analog stick, but you are playing as a first-person character following Astrobot, and you're doing a lot of things in VR, right? And so there's this first person aspect to it that I'm assuming they're going to bring to a flat screen game, that like that's the kind of stuff, those kind of interactions are the things that need to be kind of harnessed properly for a proper VR game. But yes, again, it's not like Astrobot is running up to something and you've got to program like some kind of like first person arm that's got physics on this switch or something like that. No, it's you're going to run up to something and push a button to hit that switch. So
if it was done the right way, yeah, like.
Right. So it's definitely it's as close to hitting a button to or pulling a switch to put it into VR as I think we've gotten this game specifically. All right. Listen, we talked a lot about Astrobot, and of course, the rumors said, I believe, that the next Astrobot game would be revealed in the next 2 weeks or 15 days. They said something very specific, and now here we are with a showcase. Coming up in less than 24 hours. However, Astrobot's not an announced game. And so I'm very, very curious to know if it'll actually show up here tomorrow, because let's read the blog post here. It's a very short blog post. State of Play returns.
This whole conversation could be for nothing.
State of Play returns. Exactly. State of Play returns this Thursday. This is Sid Schumann, Senior Director, Sony IE, CC, SOPIB, TILUV. I don't know what that spells. State of Play is back. Tune in.
Brian has lost the plot.
What's happening?
He's officially lost the plot.
Oh man!
I started trying to work out, and then you said, "Oh, I actually don't know what that spells." Okay, I'm going to stop guessing.
I was just using the first letter of this PlayStation blog post article, and then I realized I was like, "That who knows if I'm accidentally spelling out like racist slurs or something? That would be horrible." State of Play is back. Tune in live for updates on PS5 and P. Can you imagine if Sony had like racist slurs hidden within the State of Play bulletin? How fucking random would that be? They're like, we know Brian's going to make this joke. Tune in live for updates. Pretty random on PlayStation 5 and PSVR 2 titles, plus a look at PlayStation Studios games arriving later this year. Okay, listen. So hold on. It's a 30-minute show with 14 titles. Blah, blah, blah. State of Play is back. Tune in live for updates. I love how we fucking dissect the one sentence they give to us in order to figure out what they're going to be showing us. But tune in live for updates on PS5 and PSVR 2 titles, plus look at PlayStation.
It can still mean new stuff.
But it's, Jesus Christ! Brian has tried to read this like 5 times now.
It's updates though. So my concern is that people are like, talking about, we're going to see Astrobot. We're going to see new games. I can't wait to see what else is happening first party that they haven't announced yet. This reads to me like it's only going to be, like new trailers or release dates, or maybe some in-depth dives into games that we've already heard about. But it doesn't read to me like we're going to get brand new games announced. Do we think that the Astrobot game will be revealed at this show? It's got to, right? I mean, like,
well, it says plus it says State of Play is back. Tune in live for updates on PS5 and PSVR2 titles. Plus, look at PlayStation Studios games arriving later this year.
When in doubt, ask ChatGPT, and it's given me a really definitive answer.
What does ChatGPT have to say, Myles?
It's given a massive paragraph, but it says, as a conclusion, therefore, while the term updates might primarily indicate news about existing titles, it does not exclude the possibility of new game announcements.
Thank you, ChatGPT.
And also, let's clear the air here. Brian Easton chat says, now hold up. We know from prior announcements from Sony that no sequels will be announced this year. Yeah, they said. I mean, that was again another statement that got wildly misinterpreted, and I don't think that's what they're saying either. They were basically like talking about tentpole AAA titles, and as I love Astro, but I'm not giving him AAA title status.
Plus, a look at PlayStation Studios games arriving later this year. What PlayStation Studio games do we know about later this year? That's going to be Concord. Is it Concord?
Yeah.
And
it's weird that they include. Yeah, it's worded kind of strange because it sounds like it's talking about two different things. But PlayStation Studios games, unless those aren't on PlayStation 5, then this doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It's weird.
But but the difference is those would be the new title, potentially the new. So Astro is a PlayStation Studio, so that could be included in that.
It could. It seems like it would be referring to. That's obviously where that would fit in. But yeah, when looking at it, the first sentence or whatever, it sounds like they're going to talk about existing or like already announced PSVR2 games and just getting more information. Which there's a couple games that have been announced that we haven't seen more of. We haven't seen more of Behemoth yet. We've only seen CGI trailer for that. And, we've seen tweets going on from different people sharing on social media about people playing it on PSVR2. So it sounds like we're going to get to see some hands-on coverage in sometime in the near future. So there's that. There's also something like Aces of Thunder.
Why did you say it like we don't know that Wes went and played it in my place? What?
All
right. Yeah.
Because we don't.
Wes went and played Behemoth in my place at Skydance. That is that 100% a thing that happens. So we will have updates for you on that when embargo lifts.
Something I was going to quickly say, someone also alluded to it in the chat. It would make sense that Astrobot could also be a game that's included free with the PlayStation 5 Pro. If that's coming out at the end of the year.
A hacking game?
Well, I don't know about that, but it might be something that they're launching alongside it. Like, it would make sense why that would be a game they'd announce and say it's out at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, so maybe Astrobot. We'll probably see Astrobot. I do like. I guess there's a reason to like read into this so much because I do agree. Tune in for live updates on PS5 and PSVR2 titles. Separate from that, plus a look at PlayStation Studios games arriving later this year. I wonder how many there are. But AJ, you mentioned Behemoth, and that is, I think, maybe the number one prospect of a PSVR2 game that we'll see at this State of Play. Only because, man, it's been a long time since we've seen anything on it. It's
I can't remember. Did we first see that at the Game Awards? Is that where we first saw it, or was it a Quest showcase? I can't remember.
I
thought it was the Game Awards is when that was originally announced. That same show that showed like Among Us when that got announced for PSVR 1 and
a,
Quest 2?
I thought it was a state of play or it was a showcase.
I don't think Behemoth was ever shown at a PlayStation event before.
No, it definitely was. It definitely was. But it was. I don't remember if it was a showcase or a state of play.
It was the Game Awards. You're right. The Game Awards 2022 cinematic trailer debut.
Wait, so
don't ever doubt this memory.
Where was the teaser first revealed then?
That was the Game
the
Awards.
The cinematic one. That was it.
No, we're talking about two different things, guys. There was a teaser before the CGI trailer. And so the teaser was like a name reveal with like one image or something like that. And then there was the CGI actual thing. So the CGI one was definitely the Game Awards. Okay, that's fucking weird, man. I could have sworn one of these was at a state of play. But anyway, my memory's garbage.
They did upload it to the PlayStation channel at the same time. So it's that thing. You get it with the branding and stuff.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah. Is that they upload it at the same time. But yeah, that's a huge game. I mean, that is my most anticipated game by far. So that would be amazing to see. I've been really looking forward to seeing something on this. And it would be really interesting because like I would have expected this to be, so like I said, shown somewhere else, honestly. So it would be really awesome. It would be a huge surprise to finally get to see this as a part of tomorrow's event.
Yeah. It's long overdue. It's coming out this year, isn't it?
Yeah,
it was delayed, wasn't it, until this year? The idea would have come out last year just seems ridiculous now. Like we've had so much going on, and then also like we know loads of people have been checking out the game because we've seen all the influencers and that posting about it on Twitter and stuff. So like if they've been going to check it out, it seems like they're ramping up the promo. So they obviously nothing wrong with influencers. But they want official PlayStation backing and stuff behind it. So yeah, for me, it's kind of like it's about time that we see something official on it. Yeah. Because that's the kind of order I can imagine is if we're going to get impressions from these people that have got to play it, they want to preempt that with showing a trailer or gameplay first, and then getting people's opinions, not getting people's opinions and then building on top of it. Oh, and here's some official, gameplay, or whether we're going to see gameplay if they show a trailer now. They're not going to do another CGI. I mean, they might do. If they do another CGI,
I'm out.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous. They just show the same trailer again.
Yeah, I would love to see this. But dude, I mean, how awesome would it also be to see Aces of Thunder as well? That is another highly anticipated game. That last time I checked, that original announcement video that dropped on Sony PlayStation's YouTube channel had like almost 1 million views. So that game, especially in the absence of like an Ace Combat right now, and then also what is that show that everybody's been talking about? I need to write down that show and watch it. It's like Wings of something. Somebody in the chat will know. You know what I'm talking about? Everyone's been mentioning that lately. There's some like, I think airplane or fighter jet documentary that just came out recently, and like everybody's like super jonesing for Aces of Thunder now. Like they're like hype. Somebody will mention it.
I'm sure, but
Wings of something,
dude. PlayStation always has these like high res screenshots or whatever of these games on the PlayStation Store, not the PC Store, because the PC Store is terrible. But I was flipping through them recently, and for Aces of Thunder, and just being like, wow, this game looks so detailed. And they've already Gaijin Entertainment already announced it was going to be running at 90 frames native, and like all this shit, man. Like, and it was like December when they were like the game's basically, finished, wrapping things up. And so I've been saying it for a while. I was just waiting for a showcase, waiting for a state of play for them to be like, hey, Ace of Thunder's done, and it's out now on the PlayStation Store. Like just one of those like stealth launches. I feel like this is happening.
It seems like it's an exclusive too. Like, I don't really care if it's exclusive or not, but I do. But that would be.
It means they spent all their development time on the PSVR 2. Can port it later.
Well, that's but see, we already know that though. We already know that they're taking advantage of all the features of the PSVR 2, which is really good, and the PS5 hardware. So we got what we wanted. As far as more people being able to play it, especially as an online game, I only see that as a good thing, really. Trying to be open-minded, Brian. Trying to be open-minded here. But I know what you mean, though. When games are designed without limitations of developing for the lowest common denominator, they typically tend to be better. But it also being that could come with a caveat, though, or a double-edged sword with it being what seems to be possibly a multiplayer focused game. Right. But Masters of the Air. Thank you, Prentice Summerscales. That's the thing. I need to watch this because everybody keeps. The last couple episodes we did, everyone's like, I need Aces of Thunder. I just got done watching Masters of the Air. Yeah. I've just seen like 50 comments of that. So it's got everybody in the mood. I get it. Sometimes you see a good show and makes you want to go like play the game, like how everybody played Fallout after the Fallout show came out, Last of Us, etc.
What I'm feeling good about with this state of play is usually it's a question of like, what could they show? What are they going to show? And usually we get maybe 2 games of that. I mean, I had written down before this episode 5 games it could potentially be. And Behemoth and Aces of Thunder are definitely really strong contenders. The other 2 are 2024 releases that we've already been teased about. And I'm trying to think how much we've actually seen of them. Metro Awakening, we've seen. It was kind of a cinematic trailer, but it looked like it was a teaser. Yeah. And then Zombie Army VR. Did we actually see any gameplay?
Oh yeah,
we saw
it was gameplay as well.
Yeah.
So that's something where they could show a bit more of, I guess. But the 5th game I've got written down, and it's due to come out this year.
It's Alien.
Yeah. Alien Rogue Incursion.
That would be cool.
That would be that would be such an old. That would be. I mean, no shade against Behemoth. Like Behemoth will be amazing to see, but if they want to make noise on social media with a new VR game, Alien Rogue Incursion is just because it's a popular IP and people have fond memories of Alien Isolation. Talks of it, the VR mode.
Alien is definitely the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. But it all depends on the ordering. Although Alien Rogue Incursion, I assume that's coming out. It's coming out on Oculus. It's coming out on all the platforms. So it depends on. Everyone's going to be fighting over Servius to get it. But we had that teaser. God, it was over a month ago now. I can't believe it's been over a month ago.
It was 4/26.
Yeah.
Because
Unbelievable.
It's Alien's Day. LB246.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. April 26th. Yeah, Alien Day. So. It feels like, going into a new month, it's or just on the edge of it. That is the one that I would be super, super hyped for. And I think it would make real noise, not just as a game, but in terms of the VR platform as well.
Well, I'll tell you, man, this is the beginning of this teaser says Quest 3. Does not say Quest platforms or Quest 2 and 3. It says Quest 3, right? And so that gives me a lot of hope that they're targeting, some higher, some more impressive looking environments and some, more realistic looking, or else shit going on here. Some very lifelike aliens.
I wouldn't count out, Metal Hellsinger either. An update on that. Yeah, because that's a pretty big deal. That's obviously a very successful flat screen game, and to give an update on that would be cool. That'd be a good look.
That hasn't had like a promo in a state of play either yet, has it? Because it had a trailer, but it was kind of done by them and stuff.
It was released like late afternoon one day. Right. It actually doesn't have like a lot of views or anything, so it would obviously get a big boost from a state of play. But yeah, I'm really hoping for like Aces of Thunder here. Some of these big games that get people excited, people that like aren't interested in VR, to make them go, whoa, like look what they got going on over here. That would be the smart thing to do. And I think last time was a pretty good move. I mean, Metro, even though it was only 2 games, it was Metro and Legendary Tales. Like that was a pretty good showing, despite it being kind of like, short and sweet.
And what if they did a shadow drop? It's not going to happen, of Phasmophobia.
I mean, that would be incredible. We
would end the live stream, right, and go, we're off.
Right, and you're like, and I'm going to bed because I'm not playing this game. No, dude. The only problem with that is that Phasmophobia is also an Xbox title, also a flat screen game. It's like there's just
yeah, you're right.
It's a big launch to shadow drop on across all platforms, but it would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
The one game I feel like we're definitely going to see that like I don't really want to see any more of is Wanderer Fragments of Fate.
Oh yeah,
Mighty Eyes has been teasing like, oh, and you're going to see more footage soon, and part of me is like, we don't want more footage, man. Like,
yeah, we want the game,
right? We already know that the game is we already know that the game is great. You've already shown us a lot of what the improvements are like. I don't think we need any more, right? Like just
we want a launch trailer, and that is it.
Right, with a date, like
it's out now.
Well, not a date. We've already got a date. It got delayed recently, but but the fact is like I don't know. I wanted to be surprised by all the new stuff that there's going to be because I already played the original game and I was like, okay, like listen, you've already told me there's going to be new levels and there's like new gadgets and there's new whatever, new puzzles, right? New mechanics. There's all sorts of new stuff, but you've kind of shown a lot of that stuff already. And I'm like, just stop. And
it's a tricky one to market because like you said, we know it's amazing. And they did get some big announcement at one point, didn't they? Like because I remember I remember that getting a lot of people's attention. Like I don't remember where they originally announced it, but it's been in the, I feel like it's been in the spotlight before somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's a tricky one to market though, because like you want to show people how badass the game is, but at the same time, it's like you also don't want to ruin any surprise or any of the new stuff, especially for those of us who have played it before, which let's be honest, probably not many. We're probably definitely in the minority as the people that have played it and know everything about it. But
I mean, there's been multiple trailers already, is what I'm saying. It's like, so even for people who haven't played it, they've seen enough of it too, right? Like there's
it's
enough.
That fine line of warming people up to it and then not giving them too much. They're like, okay, I've kind of seen more of enough. And look, no disrespect to the Wanderer dev team because their social media stuff has been amazing and this game's clearly going to rock. But when I'm looking at this list and saying there's going to be 14 games and then some other titles,
that's what I'm
like, I don't want one of them to be Wanderer because let's just play a game now, just the three of us, and actually all the chat can type it in the chat as well. How many VR titles do we think are going to be shown?
2.
So obviously
two. Yeah,
2's the magic number.
3, not
2.
3.
Listen,
Listen,
if you include Astrobot.
Listen,
okay, yeah, all right.
2 if no Astrobot, 3 if Astrobot.
I'm saying 2. Period. Like if Astrobot is PSVR2 compatible, I'm still saying 2, right? Because I mean, percentage wise, this is exactly, kind of what makes sense.
But if they're pushing the headset at a cheaper price,
you're so wrong.
And
I hope
they're doing the premium package. They're making a lot of noise of PSVR2 at the moment. They might want to just give it a bit more. I think 3, and I it wouldn't surprise me. I'm not going to say 4, but I do think it's going to be more than 2. That is my bet. But you guys say 2, and I respect that because that 2 is a very boring, safe guess.
Okay, then 3 it is. Fuck you. I'm not boring.
Yeah.
I'm not boring or safe.
Well,
okay,
I know,
3.
I'm saying
3
too,
because
definitely
I'm going to be 3.
Astrobot is going to be shown. In
definitely going to be 3. I don't know what this 2 nonsense is about.
You could fuck right
don't
off.
Any of you motherfuckers have faith? Come on.
No, I'm just kidding. It's 3 because I said
Kitty in the
2.
chat says 6 to 9. I love that.
Nice.
Wow. Okay, so hold on a second. So listen, I'm not bringing this up as
somebody else got that. I'm
not bringing this up as like some credibility leak or rumor, whatever. Fuck all of it. I'm bringing it up because I think it's fucking hilarious. I already responded to this tweet before the show, but check this out.
I don't know where this is going.
All right, so Goat Gaming, who I've never heard of before, on Twitter,
hello Goat,
says exclusive.
How does it type on a keyboard with the hooves? That's really impressive. They don't have the dexterity for keyboards, but
you have to shave them down.
Void Ranger says entire show will be hybrid games. Now we're talking, baby.
Oh my god! In every game you just saw today is also playable in VR. It's going to happen one day, AJ.
And also
It's
BioShock.
been my dream since 2016. Also BioShock. Or yeah, they're going to show Judas and it's like PSVR2 compatible. I'm just going to fucking lose my shit. Okay? I might have to quit the channel just so I can go play all these games. Go Gaming writes, exclusive PlayStation Insider Hilltop Nina, which I originally read as Hilltop Ninja, so that shows you how good my reading skills are, says she's seen the PlayStation State of Play, and not to get your hopes up. She says lots of VR, multi-platform, and nothing to be excited about. Insiders believe Sony didn't want to do the State of Play, but felt pressured from the Xbox showcase. Okay, so a lot of nonsense here. However,
Who's this?
I don't know, Goat Gaming. GP.
And this is from a goat. You can listen to a goat.
It's at Liam Cloudman. At Liam Cloudman. Everybody go and don't follow him, but definitely like my response, because I wrote lots of VR, best news ever. But it's like, not to get your hopes up. Like this is speaking to the gaming populace at large, right? Like, don't get your hopes up for the State of Play. There's going to be lots of VR there. And it's like, even if it was credible, and I have no idea if it is, it's probably not. Like, don't get your hopes up. There's going to be a lot of VR. Fuck you. Like,
Yeah, seriously.
right?
Even if you're right, fuck you.
Dude, so lots of VR. How, like, so let's pretend that Hilltop
but
Nina
who
knows
is
what
this?
look, this is a joke conversation, AJ. Relax. Even if there are lots of VR, when you're looking at a list of 15 games, is it? I forget, 14 games. How many of those have to be VR for someone to say there's lots of VR? Like 4?
3.
3. Right. Three is too many for the flat screen gamer. Yeah.
And what's an Xbox game's Howcast anyway? Doesn't look real. Doesn't look legit.
Howcast. Oh, should
I'm
I
done.
click on the button? Or should I click on the image? Showcase. Oh my goodness. No.
So much.
Whoa, God.
Anybody can just make up any shit and just say whatever the fuck they want. And
That's how we run the show, dude.
Yeah, but let's
That's how
hope
we
this
do it.
one's real. It's nothing to get excited about, AJ. Just
this
lots
is
of VR stuff.
that does sound more real.
Right? Listen,
Well,
I'm changing
believable.
my bet because of Goat Gaming. I'm going to go with 4 VR games. Especially since we didn't put anything on the table for this. No, nothing to lose. I don't have to buy pizzas for no one. 4 games.
Well, that Goat Gaming post was bad.
And there it is.
Might be the first time I've laughed at one of those jokes, Myles.
Yeah, it's nice. That's how
good.
broken you are today, Brian. I'm disappointed. It's no fun when you laugh.
I agree. I agree. Holy shit.
Did you respond to this person so I can
Yeah.
like see? Okay,
I did. I know you don't follow me on Twitter.
I do.
Oh, that's me that doesn't follow you. I keep getting that backwards.
No, you do follow me. You just have me blocked
Muted.
also.
Muted. Yeah, because I don't want to hear your nonsense. All you do is copy my tweets.
Yeah,
And then post them before I post them.
exactly. Gotta make a living somehow.
Oh my goodness. All right, man.
What?
All right. So here, let's tackle a couple more tips, and then there's a couple games that we want to talk about that's come out in the last week. Dutch DJ, the Gamecat drowning in games with the 11 euros, says it's 1:07 a.m. here. I'm a very scared person because you guys are so positive about Madison VR. I have never been more scared in my life. I hate it. And then in parentheses, that's like it. Thanks for making me brave enough to buy it.
Oh my god. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Madison's so good.
Listen, we need to have a Madison spoiler cast soon. So, like, Myles, get on the ship.
Also, I'm sorry because it is scary as hell.
Yeah, it's terrifying. If anybody has a heart attack because we told you to buy Madison, our apologies. But
Brian told you to do
also,
so.
it's not really our fault.
I love that game.
I'm going to quickly
Very
go
good.
grab something because I was going to do it last Wednesday.
I mean, that's just a, yeah, we've been getting some pretty banging games, man. That's one of them for sure. That's why I love this platform is we get shit like yeah, I mean, it's so underrated in that fashion where it's like, yeah, oh yeah, we get a official release of Madison VR built for it that's like polished and shit. Nobody still cares. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Whoa.
Meanwhile, they get a 5-minute underwater tech demo where you could splash some water for 5 minutes, and they're like, "Oh, VR is the future." Oh god, it's so backwards, man.
Oh, you left me on full screen while I ran away.
I left you on full screen because I thought it was funny to have full screen, no one on screen.
That was
So anyone
definitely
shooting in.
Myles talking shit right there. That was definitely Myles.
As soon as
I
you ran
was,
back in, I should have taken the full screen off of you
Yeah, you
to
should have
complete the
done.
joke. Yeah.
I thought, what about all the little things it comes with? But it's actually all folded in the box, so it comes with all
Actual
the little
physical
goodies and
items.
stuff. Yeah,
Like
but
games
dude,
used
I
to.
normally would I would normally just open it up and stuff, but because you're always like, no, keep it sealed. This might be the first thing I just don't open.
Wait, who says keep it sealed? I never say keep it sealed.
Do you not? I thought you keep for collectibles and stuff.
I am not.
Oh
I'm
no, you say for like merchandise, like shirts and that, you don't wear them. You say you don't wear hoodies and stuff because you like to just keep them because they're
Nope.
gaming.
That's not me either.
This-
I don't know who you're referring to because
This
what AJ? What could it possibly be
gaming
to
thing-
warrant the interruption of this
this
a
game
very
gaming-
important
this
conversation
looks like
about
Xbox
hoodies?
propaganda. This looks like Xbox propaganda.
Fine.
Is what this looks like.
Okay.
Hilltop Nina.
Does this become a goats cast? Well, should I just open it? Should I open it now then?
I mean, I would because there's a lot of cool shit in there.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. I'm gonna put you back
How
on
do
the
I
full
open it?
screen. I don't know.
How do I open it?
Oops.
Oh,
That's why
fuck,
do I
man.
go to AJ? Hold on. Let's try it.
Oh,
This
you
joke
got-
is horrible.
You got Madison VR.
Yeah,
I'm so-
AJ's
I'm
been so lost in the goat thing.
Wait, AJ's
I
like
told you.
literally here for 10% of the time the show's going. I see him laughing
realize-
constantly, which means he's typing in the chat because he thinks he's hilarious.
Oh, no.
Dude, that's so
can't.
sick. Dude, shout out to Perp Games too. Crossfire Sierra Squad and Vertigo 2 have physical editions
Oh, they
in
do?
in the US. In the US of A. It's easy for you to get it. It's really hard for us to get it over here. Did you buy that from Perp Games? Or did they
Perk
send it?
Games actually sent me it.
Those
for,
fuckers.
I know they
Fuck
they,
you,
they
Perp
said
Games.
they send it and said, and by the way, this isn't like a gifted for you to promote the game. They just said this is for you shitting yourself.
Wait, this isn't for you to promote the game. Hold on, let me put Miles on full screen as he
I
opens
know.
the game on GAMESCAST.
But to be fair, the amount of stuff I get always after I do a let's play, I prefer it that way because I just always feel compromised. Like, here we go.
Oh, good.
Okay,
I mean, he lives like down the street from them, so
that's true.
it's a lot easier.
Is that how
doesn't
England
go
works?
through
Everything's right
customs.
down the road. Is that the deal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
There we go.
you know, yeah. She's really dead now.
Yep.
That was mean. That
Yeah.
sounded really insensitive. I didn't mean to sound that way.
I know what you meant.
Yeah.
And then we got the certificate of. Oh wow, it's actually see-through the crematorium.
Wow.
Cremation.
There we go.
That's kind of weird.
Signed by F. Oxford. Foxford. There we go. And then it also comes with the little.
That's pretty cool. Brian,
See that is cool.
Sorry, spoilers. Sorry.
Yeah, this games used to come with all sorts of cool shit like this. This is just getting back
know what?
to yes, AJ. What could it
I
possibly
didn't get one,
be?
Brian.
What?
So
I got
that
two.
sucks.
I got two. How do you feel about that?
I think it sucks. I think they should have given you one with a cursed camera, and then you'd really be happy with it.
Yeah. I didn't actually
there's
get
some
one. I'm
bonus
just kidding.
stuff
I just
here,
wanted to make
but
you
it's-
feel awful.
No, I'm gonna probably buy one to have one sealed because like I don't know, Madison is just such a. No. Madison is such a. I just really want to support the game because I just think what they've done is genuinely like and it feels weird because of how I am with. Oh wow, it has on the back. The fact it's done like handwriting is and it's got splodges on it, so it does like feel like an old photo. That's actually pretty awesome. No, I feel incredibly passionate about Madison VR. I just think what they've done, and it feels weird because I know I haven't played it all yet, but I was very into it before it even come out, just knowing about like how it was created. I think was awesome. The one bit of merch I would love to have is I'd love to have an actual Polaroid camera from the game. Like if
Yeah,
you
that's
could
what
get
I'm
it with
saying.
the Lucas, that'd be
Bonus
amazing.
points if it's cursed.
Yes, yeah. But
a
the
real
creator was
demon.
telling me that when he first designed the game, he was like, at risk of probably legal stuff from Polaroid, because I didn't realize that Polaroid was actually a company name. I just thought Polaroid was that type. Well, it is that type of camera, but they were the company that made it. So the way he designed it is why I think the camera has 2 flashes on it. He changed it enough so it became its own thing. But I saw one cosplayer create one that looked really realistic and stuff. But massive shout out to Bloodius, because I know in the lead up to launch, like all devs are, very nervous how things are going to go. But I've just, from the super chat and stuff, it's so amazing to see so many people that don't normally like VR horror giving it a go and just being like, I fucking hate this, but I really appreciate it. And that's kind of how I feel about it, and I know many people do. But yeah.
Well, you know what I got, Miles?
What did you get?
I got a new pair of VR Rock lenses.
What?
But it's for PSVR 1. Yeah. So I'm going to be revisiting. Why are you laughing?
Because it was the proper response.
Yeah.
I can't wait. No, I've been waiting to revisit my PSVR 1. It's plugged up. It's ready to go. Nice. But I've been holding off. Man. Yeah, isn't it?
I'm just jealous.
Tell Brian how cool.
You're going to tell me that you're going to tell me you ordered them 6 years ago and they've just arrived.
No.
Like these ones that we can't get for PSVR 2 because they're all sold out. We'll get them when the PSVR 3 comes out.
They have magnets on the side or something. It almost looks like
cool.
Yeah. I guess I haven't even used them yet. They just came in today, so I can't wait. I'm going to jump into some Astrobot. That way, all y'all that didn't buy PSVR 1 can be jealous when it doesn't get announced tomorrow.
What's the name of the... I was going to ask quickly, what are the name of the lenses, Brian, that you recommend that just not prescription, but just to protect it?
The brand name is Real Optics, REL Optics, OPTIX, I believe. Yeah, Real Optics. Yeah. They're my favorite of the ones that I've tried, and I do believe that the non-prescription is an option for them right now. They were back ordered apparently for a year or something, but I guess they are available now.
I might get another PSVR 2 headset on sale and just take the hit with the discount and then get the protection for the things, because my lenses are just shit now.
Yeah. My brother wore mine once and he played Paint the Town Red. A great game.
And he painted your lenses. Just
he painted my lenses. Yeah. No, he wore it one time, and he wore out some coating on the top of it or something. I don't even. It's not noticeable or anything, but
no.
But yeah, I was like, what the.
Magnum Gaming with the $5 tip says, what if there's a mechanic where you can pick up Astrobot with your hand as if you were holding a toy like a kid would, like that upcoming airplane game, or that...
I don't like those games.
Yeah.
Those games kind of suck. They're cool on paper, but they're not fun to play. What, like Yuki?
Yeah, Yuki. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Although the toy airplane game, Kid Pilot looks good. I think it looks really nice. The music, I think it's the music that gets me every time in the trailer. I was like, man, I fucking want to play this game just because it looks super chill. And yeah. But yeah, I don't know how that would work, man. I think Astrobot is too independent to be picked up by some mere human. That's how I feel about it. Oh, good. I made coffee before the show and it wasn't ready.
I mean, it would be cool
for the start of the show, and now the burner just alerted me that's going off. So the full pot of coffee getting cold. Michael Grant, what's up, Michael? With the $2 tip says, chances of a PlayStation 5 Pro at State of Play. I'm going to answer first and say, in my humble opinion, 0. Fucking AJ's cheating. AJ tried to answer first visually. This is bullshit. I said I was going to answer first. This is not your show.
I can't let you have anything. I can't let you have anything, bro.
0. I would say 0%. Yeah. First of all, I think that they want to announce the PlayStation 5 Pro as close to the launch of the PS5 Pro as possible. Otherwise, people will stop buying PlayStation 5s between now and then, and they don't want that. That would look horrible on a sales report. And also that's at best a showcase thing. I feel like they might even do their own special event for the PlayStation 5 Pro, but it might be a showcase thing. Right? In agreement, AJ?
What are you saying? I'm sorry?
No one cares. All right, moving on. We've got Macho, the real estate procrastinating Gamecat with the $5 tip says, we doing it again, guys, but OMG, imagine the chills if we get Astrobot 2 tomorrow, and it's been Sony using all PSVR2 and PlayStation 5 features and killing it. Oh, and kill it.
Kill the headset.
it kills the user because it's so
more
amazing.
likely to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's not drive the hype train down that route, guys. We've got 2 games that we need to talk about before we call it a day here, and the first one on the docket is the Exorcist Legion VR. Guys, real happy to say right off the bat here that VR Monkey did it. Like, they were the port studio, originally a game by Wolf and Wood, published by Fun Train. VR Monkey was tasked porting it. Second I got my hands on it, I was like, this thing stutters like crazy. They were able to get a patch out for day 1 that addressed some of the stutters, but it still stuttered a lot. But it also showed you how smooth the game could run. And then late last night, they put out a patch. It now runs at 90 native instead of 120 native. But that was apparently important in order to fix the bug that they found. And now the whole game runs super smooth. They did it, you guys. We have a very good port of the Exorcist Legion VR on PlayStation VR2 now. Did you guys get a chance to check this out?
I'll be doing on my Let's Play tomorrow.
You're fired.
Or Friday.
I did. Me, pick me, Brian.
AJ, I suppose.
He's like, did anyone else play? Anyone in the chat play?
Yeah.
Like you said, man. We obviously had this for a minute now, and it was kind of rough actually when we got to play it early for review. And thanks to a lot of your feedback that, dude, props to VR Monkey. Like, they may not have the best launches, but they are quick and they are responsive and they are receptive to feedback. And they were very quick to fix this. And it is, it is a very nice port now. Obviously it's a really old game, so there are some dated things about it, but that aside, it looks really good. I mean, it is so dark. It is like good. Really, really dark. Yeah. Like, it is very dark when it needs to be, and it looks very solid and like colorful. Like, it looks good. For clarity wise, it might get like a little bit of that Mura effect, a little bit, but not anything bad. It is definitely overall really good looking, especially considering how old it is. But yeah, man, an Exorcist, I'd say overall, like, it's not. I don't think it's like ever been like an amazing game, but I don't think that's really what it's intended to be. I think it is a really great horror experience, though, because it's not like, it doesn't really have like a lot of gameplay or depth to the gameplay. It's kind of like you just go into these different chapters. There's 5 chapters. Each one is basically just a room, and you kind of just figure out what to interact with and trigger the story to keep it going forward, and then get this shit scared out of you. And yeah, man. But overall, a really good port, another quality addition to the library, which is really nice. So yeah, I'm very happy with it, especially because I never finished chapters 4 and 5. So now I get to experience that for the very first time after all these years, and on much better hardware, which will be nice.
It's
super scary.
So it's tough. It's tougher to say that now, right? And I even mentioned this in my review, which I do promise is coming tonight, you guys. It's so crazy. I was supposed to be working around the clock all weekend to get 2 reviews out for Monday morning, and now here we are. It's Wednesday night, and only one of the 2 reviews is done. It's like, Jesus, and I've still been working around the clock. So yeah, the review's coming out tonight. What I said in it is that it's impossible for me to tell you how this game holds up scare-wise, because this is like the 6th or 7th time that I've played through it over the years, right? This game came out in 2018. It is now 6 years old. And so I would need like fresh eyes. I would need somebody who's never played it before to go through it and tell me how scary it was by comparison to other games. However, I think that the tension and everything was still there, and I think it's like kind of better than ever, to be honest with you, because of the clarity and the frame rate and all that. And so
I definitely think it's scary. I mean, the sound design is really good. The fucking logo made me like go ooh, like
oh yeah, they do that real 70s thing about like the intro to like horror movies where it's like that loud
those noises.
noisy,
Yeah.
yeah. You're like, enough, let me play.
Yeah, and like that gave me the heebie-jeebies, just the logo alone. But yeah, it's not like a it's more like a thrilling kind of thing. It's not super jump scary. It's not like as it's not like as scary as Madison, obviously, or Resident Evil 7. It's definitely not like near those, but it's still scary enough. And like I said, it's a good, if not great, like horror experience, I would say.
Yeah. It's I think compared to like Madison, like I would have rated Exorcist pretty high up there in the scare factor prior to Madison coming out. And now Madison just sort of dwarfs everything else around it a little bit. And so, but yeah, so I saw Hookworm in the chat ask if it's worth $30, and I think my answer is no. Like, I think the scares are great, probably still hold up if you haven't played it 1,000 times. I think it looks great, but ultimately, it's like you're gonna get through this in definitely under 3 hours, and and I kind of think that's even if you're taking your time and like maybe looking around and doing some extra things. I think you could get through it in 2 hours if you blasted through it. And didn't care about like any of the extra stuff you can find. I think you're gonna get 3 hours out of it, and then maybe if you really liked what you saw, you'll go back and clean up some of the bonus objectives that are there for you, and maybe get the platinum trophy. But there's just not a lot of content here, and that's something that was really acceptable, or something that we tolerated in 2018, and then we're not so tolerant of now in 2024. And so there's no upgrade path, which is a bummer, and then the $30 price point is kind of expensive for the amount of content you're actually getting. And so like I would say
it had the same problem back in the day too. Like even on PSVR1, I remember we were saying the same thing, that it was too expensive.
Right.
And those released in like separate price points. But I'm 100% with you, and it sucks because it's good. Like it's really good, but it's hard to recommend at $30 because it's like you said, like it just doesn't feel like it has the content. It's not enough of a experience and doesn't have enough depth or content to really back up that $30 price tag, even though it's good. So
yeah,
definitely a wait for a sale kind of thing. But
like $20, like, between now and Halloween or whatever, now in October, it goes on sale for $20. And I think, yeah, it's like, there's quality here. And I love the originality. It's like, you're not running around with a gun or just hiding or whatever. Like you've got an exorcism kit that you're using. This is an original game, like, or experience. And I think that what it does very well. But honestly, there are things that like would have, I think, skyrocketed my immersion in this game. Like there is headset haptics and there are, sense controller haptics, but it's so generic. I was really hoping that like when you heard like a demon whisper or like voices in the dark, that like it would screw you with you a little bit, like, or if something drops on the other side of the room, that scare would be amplified by some jolts in the headset or the headset or the sense controllers. And there was just so many opportunities, like when you like have these big metal gates or these big metal doors that you have to slide across. There's nothing, like you literally get no feedback from that stuff, right? So it's like, and it's there in the most random of places. So I think there are ways that they could have made this feel really updated for next gen, and didn't take it far enough for me to go, oh yeah, it's totally worth the $30, right? This feels like a very good port of a 6-year-old game.
Yeah.
So
$20 is the max that I would probably want to pay for it. Like I'd probably recommend even slightly lower, like 15, if I'm trying to just like make it feel perfect. But again, I'm just happy it's good, and definitely grab it on sale.
Yeah. VR Monkey's great. Like it is. I'm so shocked. They're this. If you're not familiar, they're the same ones who brought us like all of the late gen PSVR1 games like Windlands and Yuki and Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife. These are games that like got ported by them, and we got decent ports of them. And then on top of it, the original game Galaxy Car, and it's like they just listen and like just take everybody's feedback, because they know that like the gamers are important and their opinions are important. So very, very happy they listened this time too.
we were joking about their next game, Sky Climb.
Yeah,
That's coming out.
Next month.
It's gonna suck at launch, but give it 2 weeks, it's gonna be awesome.
exactly. Yeah, that is definitely how I'm feeling about it. Although I don't know if you saw the most recent trailer of Sky Climb. It looks good, man. It looks good. It looks like you're just platforming with cubes and shit. But like, I don't know. Like, I think it's going to be fun. Probably going to be quite a workout too. It's going to be exhausting. They're saying it's like 10 hours of gameplay for the single player alone. Never mind multiplayer. Yeah. We got Chrome Colossus with the $2 tip saying, putting all my hype toward playing backlog stuff. Yeah.
Dude, no joke. Like, it feels like between, when did Madison come out? When was that?
I don't know.
That was like early May, right? Early this month, May. It was like May 2nd or 3rd, right?
I'm going to agree with whatever you say
1st?
because I don't have any idea.
Well, it feels like it's been a while since we've had like a good release. I guess because there's been a lot of releases since Madison, and most of them have not been good. But yeah, like during these times, I realize how freaking good this library really is. Like, I almost get to play. Like, I actually don't mind these lulls. Like, I know it makes things for the general audience like a little bit less exciting.
Makes me happy. Get caught up on some shit.
For me, I love it because I get to dive in and play so much shit that's in this catalog already that, we have to move 100 miles an hour here and we have to blast through everything. We've played through 2 games this week, 2 new games. And so it's been wonderful just getting time to just enjoy playing stuff. A lot of stuff that I'll definitely be sharing more on soon.
Dude, I played. What is this thing keeps popping up? What is this? What is going? Okay. I've been playing Masternoid recently. The game's fucking fun. I like Masternoid.
Love it.
Masternoid's great.
I'm so terrible at getting 3 stars though. I really struggle.
Yeah. So what the star rating on Masternoid? What does that entail? That's getting combos, right? That's not about time at all.
Yeah, it's collecting all those dust particles.
Yes.
Because that's what increases the number of balls that you're firing, like that are in cycle. So basically, to get 3 stars, you want to make sure that you're collecting the dust as quick as possible. You're getting to that maximum orbit combo, and that you're not losing any of them. It's an amazing game though. It looks great, and I love how the big shapes do, as you hit them, they do kind of rotate as well fully. Yeah. I was asking the dev if they actually just rotate on like a little pivot, but he's like, if you keep hitting it a certain way, they will 360 rotate.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
Did you see that dev looked like he worked at London Studio previously? Like,
really?
It looked like he had left before they shut down, like well before it. But I thought that was interesting. Yeah, when London Studio shut down, he left a comment saying like, it was really awesome getting to do some work here. Really, like, it looked like he did a lot of things there actually. A lot of significant things. So that was pretty interesting. It's funny how just a dev like this, you just never know, they can just kind of pop up out of nowhere. But it also shows that, hey, just the amount of talent they had there, because Masternoid is awesome, super fun.
Yeah, and the music, no joke. Like, I feel like I've been talking a lot more about the audio in these games ever since I got my Pulse headset. It's like there's this like dramatic shift in my reviews. Like, it's like, oh yeah, the audio's fine. Next review, the audio's fucking amazing. It's all encompassing. It feels like it's suffocating you. And I was like, no, Brian, you got a new fucking set of headphones. But dude, playing Masternoid with the Pulse headset is just great, dude. It's like the music is just like it's so perfect for this genre of game, like, because it's got the retro synth type thing going on. Like, I haven't even found
proggy. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I was trying to find a good way to describe it. That's good. Yeah. So, okay. One more tip. Living Legend with the Canadian $2 says, as long as we get to pet the cute fennec, I'm happy. Oh, I hope we get to as well. Okay, one more game to talk about. Sushi Ben came out this past week as well. Sushi Ben in development. Seems like fucking forever. I feel like it was like early announced for PSVR2 forever ago, and then it just kind of went off. It kind of went off the radar a little bit, and then came back with a release date. You guys both played it, just to be sure before I start this.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I described it in my review as a visual novel. Myles, do you think that's accurate, or do you think that that's being too reductive?
It's definitely my impression. I've played just over an hour of it, and I enjoyed it, and I was waiting for the game to take off, where it sort of teaches you this fishing mechanic, and I tried going fishing afterwards, and then you couldn't keep the fish that you caught, and so you and I had a conversation. You said that throughout the game you pick up all these abilities and you don't get to fully use them. But I mean, my summary of Sushi Ben is this: it's definitely not my kind of game, and after a very long day I was tired, and the idea of standing around watching dialogue feels like the worst type of VR experience I could have.
Right.
But the combination of the amazing voice acting, I love the sort of the subtle haptics you get as you're seeing the conversations. They have these like comic strip windows come out, and it's not just flat imagery, it's 3D, and you can actually go up to it and peer around and see inside these like portals. All of that makes you feel, I know it's such a cliche term because it's true, but when VR is done well, it's immersive. You don't feel like you're a bystander that's just waiting for the story to pass you. You feel like you're being spoken to and that you are experiencing these things around it. And so in many ways, definitely an interactive novel. But I've enjoyed it so far, and I'm definitely going to see it through. As I mentioned at the start of the show, it's beautiful in the headset. Love the art style, really smooth frame rates. The only criticisms I really had was for a game that just feels so immersive in all these different ways, there's just a lot of really small things. And actually the dev spoke to me afterwards saying, given more time or resource, they would have definitely expanded this. But you start off on a train, and to your left there's a locked door, and so I reached to open the door, and there's literally an invisible wall, so you can't even grab the handle. Now, big whoop. But it's just kind of like, these are simple things in VR of like, straight away it's like, oh, I'm in a game, I'm not even able to touch it. And then there was a moment I bumped into some characters and they started walking away, and on my Let's Play live stream I follow them for a little bit, and then one of them walks inside the other, and then they sort of just stand there glitched, and then I walk off and then they just disappear. So there's just a few moments here and there of a bit of extra polish, but like, and there was bits where music was triggered when it shouldn't have been triggering and then wouldn't stop. But overall, I found this game to be completely and utterly joyful, and I'm not just talking about the human sounding cats.
Meow.
Meow, meow. It's constant, and I love it. It's like, dude, when I first saw the cats, I was like, there's cats, and I ran up to them. There's a whole group of them, and all of them in very human voices go, meow, and I was like, oh my God, that's clearly a human being with a microphone.
It sounds like you doing a cat impression.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is me. It's probably a clip on GameScast from years ago. This is like
all the tip sounds.
For whatever reason, it was like the most adorable thing. And so every time I saw cats, I had to run up to him, and I just waited. Wow. I was like, fucking loved it. Loved it so much. But beautiful though. Beautiful, right? Like you get this like walkabout looking, and it's so funny, man, because like I was looking through, when I was writing up my review, I was like, why does this remind me so much of Mega Man Legends? And I couldn't figure it out. I could not place it. I was like, why does it remind me of Mega Man Legends? And like, it just was nagging at me, and to the point where I kept looking up gameplay of Mega Man Legends 2, and just been like, what is happening right now? Why do I keep thinking of this? Because the easiest like VR association you can make is Walkabout Mini Golf. It looks like a town that was made in the Walkabout Mini Golf engine, right? But dude, and so I said, you know what, drop it. I got work to do. I can't keep thinking about this. So I dropped the whole Mega Man Legends reference in my review. And then like the day after the review came out, I saw on Twitter, the Sushi Ben developer was responding to a comment saying that said, all I can think about when I play this game is Mega Man Legends. And I was like, what? And the developer responded and said, that's all we were thinking about when we were making it too. And I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. There is a connection here. I couldn't believe it. So I got to go back and play some Mega Man Legends apparently. But anyway, so
you certainly do, because it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
I mean, there was a connection there, and it was deep rooted too. If I had more time, I would have figured out why I was thinking about it. But But yeah, man, I love the visual style, the flash shaded polygons, everything. It just, I mean, the fact that it's running pretty high res, and it's just like, it's what was 120 native. Is that what it's running at? It's just so clean, and I love it. So, but yeah, Miles, I was in the same boat. Oh god, I'm like, I thought I was gonna play a mini game collection. And the next thing I know, I'm in the middle of a visual novel. And as you guys know, Tokyo Chronos was almost the death of me. It was like all I did for 8 hours straight was click the fucking trigger of the move controller and just watching dialogue go back. And I didn't do anything in that game.
Right.
This game takes that idea and like says, okay, well, yes, that, but we're going to give you shit to do and everything's going to be charming as fuck. And I'm like, all right, cool.
That's
down.
it.
And it really worked for me. AJ, you haven't said a word yet. I want to hear from you.
I was wondering. I was like, should I say anything? Okay. I do think you're right. As if you're looking for
Mega Man Legends.
very heavily story-driven visual novel, I think this is good in that regard. As a game, I don't think so. I think it's not a very good game. I think if the only reason to play this, really the main appeal is like if you want to sit there and consume the kind of story that's being told, because it is a decent put together story. It does have some humor to it, which is kind of charming. It does have some charm to it, but in terms of like pacing and playing it, it is very slow and it is a lot of talking and yeah, I don't know. This is definitely not made for me. I was hoping that, the appeal to me was that like, I was like, oh, this has got a bunch of mini games in it. Maybe I'll really like, just going on an adventure and playing some mini games. And, yeah, it's just not for me. I don't think it's a very good game. I think it's a good visual novel, because it's basically just a story with some interactive elements. But really, with all the things that I've played here, the reason I love VR is the experience of it. And to me, this is not a very good experience. There's nothing special about this. There's nothing that it does for me as an experience. When I just have all this other stuff that's like really feels like a great experience. And so, yeah, like I don't think it's bad or anything. To me, it just kind of feels like a pointless VR game. Like, I don't know why, like this is about as effective to me as playing it like on a keyboard and mouse or on a watching it on TV or something. Like, it's just, so I think it's good for what it is, kind of, but I think it's maybe good as a visual novel, but everything else, I don't know. It's not for me. I don't think it's going to be for a lot of people. I don't think it's a very good game.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is good for what it is, and I think that's why we have to like rate things based on what they are and not what we wish they were or what they could have been, right? And so yeah, I think I honestly think that the thing the developers were going for, they fucking absolutely succeeded at, right? Agreed. It's not going to be for everybody, not even close. Like, it's going to be for a very specific type of person. And I was surprised it was for me. So maybe it's for more people than I think it is. But I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
I did get a few laughs out of it.
Yeah, it's not a game I would actively go out my way to get. Although when I heard about Sushi Ben, I thought it was going to be a different game. I thought it was going to be more about some kind of fishing and then like kind of Dave the Diver style. Yeah. There was going to be some grinding mechanics. So like, we talked about fishing games. There is a fishing element in it, but it doesn't become a fishing game. It's just like a little mini game that you play and then you move on to the next thing. Right. So whether I still feel like I do by the end of it, that is yet to be seen. But I just kept feeling like, okay, I'm dealing with this, waiting for it to take off. And I'm not entirely captivated by the story, although I do find the characters funny and interesting. But the reason I'm sort of going through the motions is because I'm waiting for like it to open up, not into a massive open world, because there is actually a big place you can explore, but kind of just to like, right, when do I take full autonomy and now do the game mechanics and all the things that AJ's alluding to? So yeah, they've definitely done good at what they've set out to do, but I think as a general thing for gamers out there. If you're after a very immersive game with lots of gaming mechanics, this isn't for you.
Yeah, I do love that the developers, now that all the ports are done, it seems like they are on the same page as everyone who's played it and said, man, like there's so much potential here, right? This feels like a world that like you want to hang out in, right? You don't just want to go from mission to mission to mission to mission to mission. Between missions, you want to be like, hey, I wonder what's happening over there. Like, I wonder what that girl's doing. Like, I had a lot of fun. Like when I took her to sushi, let's go see what she's up to, right? Like it seems like there's so much potential here, and you know, I threw out the idea of like getting a job and like, you know, like fishing for money or something like that, right? Using the systems that are already implemented to like make money, and then like be able to like go decorate your little apartment that you have that's completely barren. Like there's nothing in there, right? And so this is such great groundwork for something that could be so much bigger. But you know, I understand as well, if we're talking about a $25 game here, we're not talking about a $60 game, we're talking about a really small dev team. I loved what I played, but I couldn't stop thinking about how it could be even better. And I think that's a good thing, right? Whenever you want to spend more time and do more stuff in a game, there's a certain level of positivity about that, where it could be normally conceived as like perceived as negativity. Anyway, Grandpa's Barbecue or Gamecat with the Australian $5 tip says, Sushi Ben made you feel like a part of it, like Koi, Miles.
It's a great comparison, because that's exactly the kind of novel where I was not invested in it at all, and I was like, get me out of this hellhole.
Right.
I didn't feel like that with Sushi Ben.
Yeah.
Before we wrap things up, I just wanted to quickly go to a comment made by Rady the Gamecat Army General when we were speaking earlier about lenses and how cleaning it. So one of the things that I use for cleaning my lenses is a lens pen, which is held up by like camera professionals. It's got a carbon tip and it has a brush on it. Mm-hmm. I used it on my PSVR headset and then used it on my PSVR2. And some other people have used it. Rody has full out said lens pen is bad. I didn't know that was the thing. Yeah. So even though I saw it as being used by camera professionals and thinking if it's used for camera lenses, it'll be fine with this. He says, get a carbon-infused microfiber cloth. Nothing works better. It's what NASA uses in their lenses. So if it's for NASA, it's for PSVR2.
Oh, means.
Yeah.
I will say I've never used a lens pen, so I couldn't say thumbs up or thumbs down. But I mean, I trust Rody implicitly. The thing is with me, you know, I think the original PSVR 1 came with like a little microfiber cloth, and it's like, that's great. But with me, it's like, you know, I end up throwing it in my pocket, or and then it goes through the wash or whatever. And so like, and then I'm like, well, where the hell is that? And so I have now bought 2 packs of 32 microfiber cloths from Amazon. And I go through them pretty quickly because I think Tornado gets a hold of them and then like runs under the bed and like keeps them, and there's like forming a nest or something. And they're great. They really are great. I've never had any problems with scratches, never had any problems with any issues like that. So I don't even know if mine are carbon infused, like Brody said. They're just like microfiber cloths that I bought on Amazon, and I've gone through like 50 of them already. It's great.
Microfiber cloths are good, and I've always used them. I always use the lens pen as like the super clean bit. Again, they're used for like professional cameras, so I assume they would be fine, and they've always been recommended by people in the community. But then they do work really well, but clearly in the long run, and especially at the rate that I use a headset, because for the most part, I'm not doing lots of long gaming sessions. I'm playing lots of different games, you know, taking it off on again, cleaning it again. Also use it for fitness, so I sweat a lot in the headset as well. So all these things, and I just wanted to put it out there because there was some discussion in the chat, and I always want to underscore the conclusion is don't use the lens pen is what I'm hearing here. So I'm going to have to get my headset, get a new one, and try and get that one repaired.
Good to know, and sorry to hear that.
It still works fine. It's just like at a point where I'm trying to judge the quality of games, like it looks fine in the headset. It's the best way I can explain it is like when it's like thin lines or like or light, it's a bit blurry. Like it's kind of like it's just not as clear cut. And when I was working with the C Smash guys for a little bit, we went to an event and I put on this PSVR2 headset and I was like, wow, this is really tight on the head, and I forgot how good it can look. They're like, oh yeah, this is a new headset. Yeah. And it's like in that moment I'm like, okay, I remember how good it looked, you know. But at the same time, the amount of use I've had from it for over a year, I've got my money's worth. Not that I paid for it.
Oh, right. You didn't even fucking pay for it.
So it's about time.
It's been a while. Okay. It is time for some 20 questions, and then we'll get out of here. Myles, it's your turn.
It is. I've got a game.
Questions. You've got a game picked out. All right.
I think so. Yeah.
Me and AJ and everybody in the chat is up to us to ask some questions, yes or no questions. And only 6 minutes on the clock to figure out what game PSVR 1 or 2 that you're thinking of. Let's fucking do this. Let me bring up the clock. On your mark. Everybody help out. Get Dez. We really need you. Go. AJ, kick it off.
Is it on PSVR 1?
Yeah.
Follow-up question, is it also on PSVR 2?
Yeah.
Okay, I love this. This is going to narrow it down quite a bit.
I give up.
Is it horror?
No.
It's not The Exorcist. He always
Is
does
it
this.
survival?
Sorry, is it what?
Is it survival?
No. No.
Okay. Well, I gotta make a not column. Not horror or survival. Okay. Are you primarily like shooting weapons in this game? Any kind of weapons? Is that like what you're doing?
Primarily, no.
Okay.
5.
Is it retro themed?
No, I don't think so.
Like no retro influence? Well, not influence, but like, is it clearly inspired by something retro or whatever?
I wouldn't say so.
Trying to get
Okay,
extra
so
answers out of him.
It's not like a retro game, no.
Okay.
Let's go with Mr.
Like an
Marcio.
AJ from this side
Enough,
too.
AJ. Enough. Is it a puzzle game?
Yeah.
It's puzzling places, AJ.
That's 7.
Because he hesitated way too long when he answered that.
Oh, whoops. I gave it away.
Is it based off a popular IP?
No. 8.
The popular
think it
IP
may be
of
right.
jigsaw puzzles.
Jigsaw puzzles TM. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Is there full locomotion?
Yeah, there is.
Ooh.
Not puzzling.
Okay.
Which
It's
I only
not
realized. I only realized the other day that Puzzling Places has full locomotion. I didn't realize you could actually move around it. Yeah. I hid one of the puzzle pieces in a rock.
Myles, does this game have DLC? Purchasable paid DLC?
No.
Okay, definitely not Puzzling Places. We can move on.
Go ahead.
10.
It's literally. Let's see here.
Puzzle game with full locomotion on both PSVR 1 and PSVR 2. This really narrows it down.
Sci-fi.
Sorry, is it?
Sci-fi.
I'm gonna no.
Okay, definitely not Red Matter then. Sorry, Looper.
I was waiting for him to go.
It arguably has sci-fi elements in it, but I wouldn't regard it as a sci-fi game.
But if you were to like go like, yeah, then I was gonna be like, it's Red Matter, but you didn't.
Okay.
So it's not Red Matter.
No.
All right. Listen, I want to go with Looper, but I'm going to go with Markio. Does it have any kind of multiplayer?
No.
Okay. Puzzle game,
12.
no multiplayer. Looper's wondering if it's a launch title. Should we ask that, AJ? PSVR 2 launch title. We have two.
No.
Two minutes
PSVR
left.
2 launch title.
No. 13.
Okay. Wow. It can't be Wanderer, Techno Glitch, because it's not out on PSVR 2 yet, but that's a good shout. Budget Cuts is definitely sci-fi. There's no question about that.
100%.
Thumper was, I don't think, a good guess. It's not a puzzle game, right? We don't consider
No,
rhythm
it's
games
not
puzzle
puzzle
games.
Is it a good game?
No.
Okay, he's going
14.
obscure crap game
All
here.
right, yeah, and it can't be the room anyway. Room doesn't have full locomotion. God damn it.
Motherfuckers trying to go hard mode on us, Brian.
Right? Well, we deserve it. We've been doing this for a really long time, AJ. But it's on PSVR2, man. If it was just some PSVR1 deep cut, it's a PSVR1 and PSVR2 game. It's a puzzle game with full locomotion.
And it's not good. The Room VR is a good game. I think Prison Boss is pretty good.
But Prison Boss doesn't have full locomotion.
Yeah. Well, and it's he said it's not good, so it's a bad game. So
Right. Good point. Man, Happy Funland's a good game. Not on PSVR1. Dude, I am fucking blanking completely. Fisherman's Tale didn't come out on PSVR1, right? Fisherman's Tale 2, didn't come out on PSVR1. And the first one doesn't have full locomotion. God, this isn't going well at all.
I skipped a... Oh,
fuck me. So hard. Don't even ask any more questions. Just take it away, AJ. Just say it. Just ask.
Is it Suicide Guy?
It's not.
It's not?
It's Suicide Guy VR.
Yeah. Scott, dude. Scott.
To be fair, that's the
Justin.
longest I think I've done the 20 questions where no one got it in the chat.
Right.
That's like one of those hiding in plain sight things.
Yeah, well, I thought you might have done the whole, did we talk about it on today's show, in which case it would have narrowed it right down. And when you said, does it have DLC, the flat screen version does have a DLC, which was Sleeping Deeply, but I think they put a couple of those into like just the base game of Suicide Guy VR.
See, dude, I should have played the metagame because you always do this. It's always a game we talked about on the show. It was either something that we just reviewed or something that you talked about. And after it was, I don't know why I didn't think harder about this. I should have known right from the get-go.
It was good. That was good. Sneaky. And as soon as Scott posted that, both Brian and I
couldn't hide the smile. As soon as he posted it, my eyes are like, don't look at Brian and AJ. And I look and they're like,
as soon as I
and I want to be very clear about
3
this.
hours ago.
I would not have gotten that if you didn't put it in the chat.
I wouldn't be there.
My brain was not there at all.
That's what they're there for, though.
That's right. Mischievous Markio just gifted 5 without Parole memberships. You are amazing, Markio. Thank you so much. Also, thank you, Myles, for being here. I appreciate you very much. Thank you, AJ, for being here. I appreciate you slightly less. Oh man. But yeah, no, listen, Rody the Gamecat Army General is diligent about putting timestamps into the show after the fact. RidePop gets this thing up on podcast services of your choice. So many people that are working to make this shit happen. We appreciate you all. It's a 3-hour episode. Now I got to go edit an Exorcist review. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you all the cats. We appreciate all the help you give us. Everybody who supports us on patreon.com/withoutparolegames, everyone that's a member over here, everyone who tips during the show, it means so very much. You guys are awesome. Everybody who just contributes to the conversation, like you really are, whether you know it or not, keeping us entertained while we try to keep you entertained. But of course, there's all the people out there who watch the show and don't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there and we love you just as much. Here it is, you guys. Clip of the week.
This is position A, right in the fairway, and 180 yards to go.
AJ, let's cue the cat.
Get the motherfucking cat, Brian, because I want to say see you guys tomorrow. Well, you'll see Brian and Myles tomorrow, and I'm probably going to have to delay my show.
And Jammy.
And Jammy. Shout out Jammy Hero. Techno glitch. The system is... Wait, Myles, can you say the system is down? The system is down.
The system is down. The system is down. Do you know how you do that? You say boots and cats, boots and cats. Like boots on your feet and cats.
Boots and cats, boots and cats. Oh, nice. I like that. I learned something today. Yay! Salvador, peace out, homie. Secrets of good night to you, Chris Forthenberry. I don't know why I have to say it like that.
I also don't know why you have to say it like that.
Your mother was a hamster, and your daddy smelt of Forthenberries.
Wow.
Guys, a fist bump to you. Jin 007, Allison's to chill. Dinglebert Wingledank is a name I haven't said in a long time, and thank you for saying something. Says blah, 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 blah.
Excellent.
Mischievous Markio, the Underground Gamecat Elite Name Squad in the house says Dark Techno. Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats. Scott, the PSVR Gamecat for life. Good job helping us get through that 20 questions. That was a tough one. Miles threw us a nice little curveball there. Melchiah, the Soul Reaving Gamecat Brazil. When are we going to get Soul Reaver VR, Brian?
Never. We're not even getting new flat-screen Soul Reaver games.
Good night to you. Ace Gamer, the Gamecat. John Boy Dojo. That should have Gamecat at the end. So,
wow, you're so demanding.
The Dojo Cat.
Just be happy
John
that he's
Boy
here.
Dojo Cat.
Just
make it happen. I am happy he's here, but not as much as living_legend. Good night. Ezek. Crazy Kung Fu just came out, apparently.
Yay.
Scoop. Ezek with the scoop.
Yay. Yeah, that clip of the week was from Siggy Play. I think that's how you say it. It was in our Discord, and I still, for the love of me, can't fucking figure out why somebody posted a flat screen golf game as clip of the week. But I fucking thought it was the funniest thing ever, so I had to share.
It's pretty good.
All right, guys, thank you both very much. Let's get out of here, and yeah, cats, we'll see you again tomorrow for State of Play. Keep your fingers crossed for at least 7 to 9 PSVR2 games, because as you've heard, State of Play will be mostly PSVR2 games. Maybe. Good night.